What's up guys, this is one tech for every character in Smash Ultimate, the SUPERCUT. It's basically the entire 8-part series in a single video, a nice little marathon here, but also with a couple corrections and more info that I skipped by accident here and there. Overall, I think I had a pretty good track record. I only made a few mistakes, but it's always good to go back and fix stuff, right? A tech, of course, means a technique. It's a fun little trick or a setup or a strategy that you can do to up your game. And the two rules that I use throughout the series are that it has to be at least a little bit useful in a real game, so it can't be useless, but it also can't be something super obvious either, right? Just to keep it fresh, you know, this game is old. I promise there's a ton of stuff here you didn't know about. Also, by the way, we're following a funky order here because we made this series last year. It's gonna be following the 2024 tier list, and we're starting off with the S tier and working our way down. That's weird. I don't know why I chose that order, but be sure to check the timestamps out if you want to skip to your gang, right? This is every character that got a correction or an update, and a couple where I decided to just restart and choose another tech, just in case you've seen previous parts, you know, so you don't have to wonder if a character you care about got updated, right? And also, both of my mains are here. That's embarrassing. Don't remind me. Before we begin, what's up? I'm someone and I make cool videos, so subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, that's cool too. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for your support throughout the series. This was super fun. Let's begin. Alright, Joker's one of my co-mains, so I have a lot of secret Joker knowledge to share with you guys. Ooh. I want to talk about the gun slide. Remember, I'm not instantly gonna gravitate to the most useful or common technique because I'm trying to keep this fresh and interesting. This game is a million years old. You probably already know about the Fair 1 confirm. So sorry Fair 1 confirm, sorry up air infinite combo and tether cancelling, sorry down throw down air and aerials out of gun. Joker has so much tech, I could keep this gag running forever. So let's get into the gun slide or the gun dash, because I don't see a lot of Jokers doing it, and it's kind of easy to do and it looks so good. And it's when you press neutral B at just the right time while in the air. You can buffer it out of a short hop and that's fun, but when you time it perfectly and do it a little bit later, you go way farther. Joker's one of those characters who's a mix between a bait and punisher and a rushdown, and this tech plays to both of those game plans. You can make some very sexual looking fake outs or surprise approaches by mastering this. It has very little lag, and of course it gives you more control over your position. If you time it wrong and get the regular gun slide, it's still not a bad option, and you can do it in a bunch of different situations like tech chasing on a platform or at ledge, but it does stale like rolls do, and the long slide does have less invincibility than the regular one. So if you want to be optimal with it, you gotta learn to not overuse it. But it's really fun. It's definitely one of my favorite things you can do with Joker's gun, and it's also super easy to execute, so have fun. What up? First correction here. Not really a correction, I just feel like I could have added more info. So yeah, it's the gun dash, and there's cool things you can do with it from ledge, but it is a mix-up. It's punishable, not something you should do often unless you want to act like a scrub, but there's something else. Apart from gun dashing, you can also bait people into thinking you're gonna do a gun dash from ledge, but instead you just land on the floor and surprise them. Without a gun dash, you just gun and land on the floor. Like if you've already gone for a gun dash from ledge a couple times, people will probably shield after they see you drop down in a double jump gun and prepare to catch the dash, but you can also shoot and then just not dash and land on the ground after shooting the gun. This is great. All you gotta do is drop down, double jump gun, and hold in with your left stick, but let go of the B button. And if you get that timing right, you get to land on the floor with no lag, and people are gonna be like, oh, what happened here? Oh. Diddy Kong is another combo character, which means movement options are super valuable, and in this case it's pop gun cancelling. Pop gun is Diddy's neutral B. I don't fight a lot of monkeys on locals, so I mainly bump into them online, and I kind of just see them mash banana because, I mean, fair enough, it's his best move. But stepping away from this disgusting fruit for a second, Pop Gun is still a great move, and this tech involves cancelling it midair by pressing neutral B and shield at the exact same frame and holding it. And the move will be cancelled, and you can act out of it and also gain a bunch of momentum because this move can be B reversed. So it's good for movement, and like Joker, you can fake people out or go for an attack, and as a character that has high mobility as part of their game plan, this tech can go a long way on someone who's added this to their approach. This video by Solo Jones does a really good job at explaining the whole thing, so for more info, check this video's description, you know how it goes. Fox's forward air is really cool, and if you look up Fox Fair tech, you will most likely find like the drag down tech chase setup, which is really good, and it's used a lot more than the thing I'm actually going to talk about, which is the offstage drag down fair into shine cheese, or just drag down fair offstage in general, which is a goofy thing Fox can do. and I want to look into it. What you do is catch a jump or an air dodge or anything that allows you to land a fast fall fair off stage, and you'll be hitting down with your opponent because this move is a multi-hit and it lasts for a while, which means if you get it right, you won't land the final hit of the move that does the actual knockback, and you'll be in a position where you can double jump and down beyond a hoe, or if you ended up on stage, you could just run off and do it and keep your jump, or maybe just skip the shine if you feel like it's not necessary this time and just fly off and get away with a robbery. This obviously isn't like a prime optimal Fox tech, but it's not useless either, and it's a fun thing to try if you catch a jump or something and your recovery goes super far. I've seen Light do this a bunch of times and it always feels like a complete robbery because this works at all percents and shine sense at a pretty gross angle, and if your recovery isn't busted or you have no jump, it's basically just Fox carrying you straight down and nudging you away from the stage, and a lot of characters just lose to that. It's really funky. Also, there's no Fox guide for this. I pocket Fox. I chose this because it was funny, so instead of a tutorial, you guys get a video of Light flossing after winning a set at SmashCon. For Peach and Daisy, I consulted their character Discord because all I found on YouTube were some super useful bread and butter stuff, which is all fun and nice, but I want silly shit. So I asked around and found out about the turnip train. This is a wild combo that loops into itself. The percent range depends on what kind of turnip you're using. For example, I found videos of the Stitch turnip going straight from 0 to death, but I'm not sure how true or tight this was. And then I found this video by RazoPCH or RazoPeach, I'm not sure, where he says that the perfect range for the regular turnip is 65 to 70%, and you usually do this sequence 3 to 4 times until finishing it off with an aerial or side B. To do this, your opponent has to be close in front of you, toss the turnip and dash float towards your opponent while Z grabbing it, land, and you can do this over and over until the knockback is too high or you go for a finisher. Since turnips have different knockback values, the follow-ups you can get can vary. For example, sometimes you can get down tilt into fair, sometimes you can go straight for the back air, so of course Razzle's video will be in the description where you'll be able to find more info on turnips percent ranges and the best finishers for each turnip setup. For R.O.B, I was gonna talk about burner boosting, but I realized that so far 2 out of the 4 characters I've covered so far have some sort of movement tech as their thing, so instead I'm gonna talk about delayed ZZ. This is courtesy of Michael Wave, a R.O.B player who made a great video explaining the whole thing. Apparently learning this is kind of mandatory for every R.O.B player. I know this video isn't meant to showcase like the most important tech for every character, you guys know it's just for fun. But I feel like this tech is too iconic to skip this time because delayed ZZ is what we're looking at when we see these ridiculous combos that make R.O.B carry you across the stage. And I want to make sure next time you see someone do it, you can be a nerd and at least know what the inputs are. I just spent like 1 hour trying to do one R.O.B combo for a video. I play Lucina, man. Like, I don't know stuff like this. That doesn't count. The guide for this is with all the other ones, and by the way, according to Michael Wave, this is something you're supposed to learn after learning the double toss, whatever that is, so go ahead and learn it, my child. Anyway, delayed ZZ is in fact a combo related technique. You Z drop gyro in the air and press A to pick it up while inputting Nair at the same time. Then when you land, jump and press A to throw it again and Z grab it with the shield button, and then you have to Z drop it again as close to the ground as possible and you're good. It'll set you up to start this loop again, and it can just keep going for a while. Delayed ZZ opens R.O.B up to a bunch of other combo extensions and finishers like the double toss, which I looked it up, it's just another insane R.O.B gyro combo, and side B, which pairs especially well with this because side B kills off the side, and what R.O.B is doing with this combo is pretty much carrying you to one side of the stage. Michael Wave's video goes into a lot more stuff if you're interested, like what happens when you time the delayed Z drop wrong and stuff. And also, yes, I'm doing this on CPUs because I don't play R.O.B, and this would take me ages to land on someone. I play Lucina, I'm not used to using my brain that much. Speaking of not using your brain that much, for Pyra Mythra, you Aegis mains are gonna get a treat because I decided to do one for Pyra and one for Mythra, and these 2 strats are cool. And by cool, I mean so dumb, but also kinda cool. It all comes from a mechanic that is sprinkled onto all sorts of attacks throughout Smash called hit stun modifying, and on paper it's really nothing to pay much attention to. Basically, we know stronger attacks cause more hit stun and weaker attacks cause less hit stun, but sometimes thanks to hit stun modifying, certain moves that are meant to have multiple hitboxes that are supposed to link into each other, like a bunch of jabs or Shulk's up smash or Kazuya's everything, will have more hits done so they can connect better and work properly. So that's cool and fun, but for some $6 reason, some of Pyra Mythra's multi-hit moves have some racist hit stun modifiers. With that out of the way, for Mythra, if you land only the first hit of her up B, which will most likely be when snapping to ledge while your opponent is already hanging from it, this part of the move has a hit stun modifier and you get a million frames to follow up with anything. Usually good follow-ups for this tech are moves like combo aerials, but also neutral B, which can be B reverse to scoop up opponents and kill. So yeah, that's cool. Basically, if you're Mythra and you can tickle someone on the ledge like this, you can follow up with a bunch of stuff. And now for Pyra, it's something very similar, but we use side B instead. It's a little bit more precise, but their ward is way higher. If you play Aegis, you probably switch to Mythra when it's time to recover sometimes, but if you ever end up recovering with Pyra, you can do it on your way back, but also you can just do this while on stage. And again, this move has a crazy hit stun modifier, so you use side B, hit your opponent for the hit stun and successfully cancel it because it hit the ledge, and you get some crazy combos. It's dumb. I got some of this info from Waidu. We all love Waidu. Go check out his video on it for more details, like opponents who get sent down after Mythra's up B and a bigger list of follow-ups. Like always, you know where the link is. You probably thought I was going to talk about the infinite recovery, but that's too easy. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows how to do it. Snake is one of my least played characters, and even I know how to do it because there's nothing to it. All you got to do is down B twice. So I'm going to hook up my Snake main audience and find something weird. And wow, I found a really nasty one. I'm starting to regret this. If you're a Snake main, it's not that good. You can skip this part. Alright, are they gone? What you just saw here is Snake purposefully damaging his side B Nikita with a grenade so that it takes 10% of damage. Why? Because Nikita only blows up after taking 20, which means a lot of up Bs can clank and push through it because they deal less than 20%, so there's no reason for Nikita to blow up. If you damage it with a grenade by throwing it in front of you and sending Nikita through it, it'll take 10% of damage from the grenade, and if anything else hits it for anything above 10%, it'll blow up on them, and you've made one of the best edge guarding moves in the game a lot better. That's messed up. I already hate fighting Snake. I'm not sure if this tech has a name. I found it on this video by Snake Connoisseur Poppin Swiss. You know what to do if you want more details. Just make sure you finish my video before you go. This one was difficult to find because Snake has a surprising amount of cool techniques we actually see a lot. There's the infinite recovery, but also B reversing grenades for landing mix-ups. There's the Z-nade that lets you optimize where you place your grenades and helps you get better follow-ups. And like I said, I want to visit techniques that are seen less, and I've never seen a Snake player do this. And I watch a lot of tournaments, so either this isn't that good in practice, maybe because it takes a bunch of time to set up, or it's one of those things where Snake players are always pressing buttons, so unless you know the matchup, you never really know what they're trying to get you with this time until it's too late. Alright, we've reached the big three, but I promise this Game to Watch tech is kind of insane because it makes this character look cool, which is already something that might be a little too hard to believe, but look at this. If the percents in DI align, this combo is kinda easy. You need to land the fourth and last hit of an air while landing, and then jump up and footstool and buffer it down air. The ideal percent window for this is about 50%. It doesn't work on DI out, but on DI in and no DI, you're good to go. This takes some practice, but it can be a true combo if your opponent is at the right percentage. There is a little more nuance to it, like what happens if your opponent starts drifting to either side after the footstool. That can mess up whether or not you get the spike. So for more details, you know where to click to find Strobix Smash's video, which is what I use to learn this. But I don't see this as much. I'm not sure why, because it looks really cool, and landing there is one of the character's most used moves, right? I don't know, maybe this combo is tighter than it looks. My family showed me love and support growing up, so I rarely played Game & Watch, but I found that this was kind of easy to pull off in training mode. Fast falling a multi-hit nair isn't hard, but in this case, since you need to land the last hit, you have to time it properly, so you can't just nair and fast fall and get the setup for free all the time. But again, landing nairs is a thing many Game & Watches do already, so if you main him, you probably already have these timings down. Good luck, please do it. It'll make your character more interesting, I swear. I rarely watch Sonic gameplay, can you blame me? So when looking for something to put in as Sonic's tech, I was a little worried I'd accidentally end up choosing something that was super obvious and is used all the time instead of something more niche like the rest of the stuff in this video. So I was just gonna go to this playlist by Lyco full of guys and pick the one with the funniest name. But at the same time, my homie Bam Snoozled over on my Discord server told me to talk about the spin shot, and it's actually something that shows up on this playlist. So alright, let's talk about the spin shot. Alright, you know what? I know saying positive things about Sonic is like a sin among the community, but this is actually kind of cool. All you gotta do is hold down side B and then release it and tap A. Just make sure you don't fully charge the side B, and remember you do lose your double jump and you do lose side B's hitbox. Once you get the hang of it, it's super easy to do, and because Sonic's whole thing is being overwhelmingly fast, this movement tech only adds to that. It lets you do cool mix-ups, it lets you do surprise edge guards, it gives you yet another way to zoom across the stage. I like it. I'll probably regret it, but you Sonic mains are gonna get an entire playlist in my works cited section. Except good luck copying and pasting this into your browser, because I'm gonna make a whole ass APA citation for it. Steve is probably the most difficult character for this video, in the sense that he has so many bizarre things that he can do, and it's so hard to pick just one. I've seen countless weird Steve plays, I considered countless weird Steve plays for a spot on this video, and I'm sure there are countless weird Steve plays that I still don't know about. The one I picked, I don't even know the name of, probably because this character has too much tech for its player base to even keep track of and name everything. But I saw this old tweet by Steve player Naxty that was covered by Beefy Smash dudes a couple years ago, and I guess finding broken Steve tech is nothing new, but I picked this because it looked cool, and also this is a ledge trap setup that can cover every get up option, and I don't see those a lot. Here it is. All you gotta do is place TNT and damage it so that one up B will make it blow up, and also make sure it ends up at neutral get up distance. According to Naxty, a stale down tilt will do the job, and then time yourself jumping and using up B down and diagonally towards the ledge to blow up the TNT, and also sending you to hang from ledge, causing a ledge trap that you can follow up with a back air. It does lose to get up attacks sometimes if you're not expecting it, but get up attacks are way less common and they're super punishable, so only a well-timed get-up attack will beat it. I wouldn't say this is completely broken because it takes some time to set up, and it also does take good timing and execution as well. And there are Steve tricks that can cover most options that are faster to set up and are more consistent, and these are the ones you'll see be used more. But I hadn't seen this deck before, and it's such bullshit because its main weakness is that you can't react to this. You need to do up B as soon as your opponent inputs any get-up option, and up B doesn't come out fast enough for a simple reaction to do it. But remember, this setup also causes a ledge trump, which means they'll probably be inputting something as soon as they grab the ledge to avoid it, which makes this way easier to time. And it gets worse because if they shield it in time after a neutral getup, you can do some insane shield damage because, I don't know, why not? So basically, if you do it in time, you get a crazy punish. If you do it too early, you get a ledge trump, unless you fumbled it completely and did it before your opponent even grabbed the ledge. And if you do it too late, the TNT might still hit and you can get a ton of shield pressure. So yeah, Steve is cool. Zero Suit Samus's tech for this video starts out as something simple, but the more you think about it and the more you experiment with it, the crazier it gets and the more potential you'll start to see in it. This is Paralyzer Ledge Canceling. Paralyzer is ZSS's neutral B. It's the gun that stuns opponents for a little bit, and by B reversing or wave bouncing it near a platform's ledge or the stage's ledge, you can cancel it as you slip and descend, and you get some cool movement. This character relies a lot on her super high mobility and baiting and reading and being smart, which is why these types of plays are always welcome. It does take some practice because your positioning needs to be on point, but you can go for surprise approaches or baits or shoot 2 paralyzers or try to get some stage control or condition shields, and it's pretty cool. I found this from Sparta's ZSS, who has tons of Zero Suit stuff on their channel, and this deck is pretty cool, but I also imagine it's kind of risky because you kind of give up stage control to do it if you have to be up on a platform, right? And having to retreat to do it just doesn't sound like a good idea, right? Especially when Nair or Zero are also really good, easier ways to hold the stage. So because of this, doing it in neutral might be a little risky, but again, ZSS, good mobility never hurts, and I don't see this a lot, so that's fun. 15 minutes in training mode and you should have this down. The window for a ledge cancel is a lot more lenient than it looks. For Terry, I chose to talk about crack locks and crack loops. Crack shoot is Terry's back special, and it has 2 hits that are meant to connect to each other. So if you use down tilt a couple times to make sure you can hit up tilt at a distance where the light version of crack shoot will only hit with the first of the 2 hits, it'll drag opponents down, and you have some loop potential and some jab lock potential that I've never seen a Terry do before. I like it. I got this from a video by Ikechi here on YouTube, who posted a really good guide explaining this, because crack locks and crack loops are the same combo, but we call it a crack lock when your opponent lands in a tumble, and a crack loop when they land on their feet. This is determined by whether or not you landed crack shoot while your opponent was ascending from the up tilt or descending. I lapped this out, and Ikechi was right. The percentage is irrelevant. If you hit crack shoot while they're going up, they'll land on their feet, and if it hits while they're descending, then you get a tech chase. One disclaimer: if you get the tumble, you're good for a tech chase, but if you do the version that makes your opponent land on their feet, they can air dodge out of it beforehand, and if they land next to you, there's nothing you can do that will true combo out of it. But that's where your reactions come in, because you can catch air dodges with Burning Knuckle, shields with a grab, and your down tilt is frame 6. So if your opponent does anything that lets you land a down tilt, you can just repeat the loop and get a second shot at a tech chase. Again, Ikechi made a super good video on all this, go check it out for more info like good follow-ups and ways to call out air dodges, percent rages for this, and how Terry's rage can affect how true this is. I don't see this string a lot though, maybe because all the Terrys I fight online are Elite Smash scrubs who only jab twice and down B, which you can SDI by the way, sorry Terry mains, I know this is forbidden knowledge, but also I imagine a lot of actual real Terry players don't go for it because it's pretty tight, and online reacting to options and getting the timing right can be a lot more difficult. But it's a cool combo, so thanks Ikechi for the fun tech, and now we move on to my queen. Alright, this is my main, so Lucina's pick has to be good, and it is. I've talked about Lucina a lot on this channel before, but there's one setup I brushed past in a video I uploaded last year. I'm sure someone else out there has done this before, this game is played by a lot of people, but I've never seen anyone else do it, or give it a name, or recognize it as a legit play, or take it to tournaments, or spread the tech on YouTube like I have. I've done all these things, you get it. So as the true founder of this tech, I'm gonna name it the Air Dodge of Shame. This is super simple, it's just like a funny cheese thing you can do. It works mainly when opponents decide to recover super low on you. Bonus points the slower and more vertical it is, like K-Rool, Fox and Falco, or Ridley. And all you gotta do is jump down like you're gonna try to go for an edge guard or safe spike, and so you basically just give him a slap with the first hit of side B and bait out an air dodge. In my experience, the first couple times you go for this, it'll work great, but after a few times, anyone with a brain is gonna start expecting it, and they'll either not tech on purpose, air dodge up, or do their best to not recover low against you, which is really good because Lucina is an insane edge guarder. Yeah, so 2 corrections so far, and it's the characters I'm supposed to know about the most, don't mind me. So yeah, I don't know, for Lucina's thing, it's not that it's wrong, I just forgot that there is a direct counterplay to this, and it's called Option Select. Thanks to Eric Aguirre for reminding me, if you press up B and shield at the same time, the game will choose the best option for you. You'll tech if you need to, you'll up B if you don't. Boom, counterplay. Oops. Still, I think this tech is great because most people will not try to option select tech on you unless they know exactly what you're going for. Most people just press shield, but even if they do land on option select, you can still hit them with another move afterwards. They'll panic, trust me, they'll definitely panic. Here, I'm actually talking about what you can do once this cut ends. I just forgot to mention that this is a counterplay to option select, but you know, trust me, it's a counterplay to option select. If you slap them and they don't air dodge, odds are they'll still panic and use up B and recover, which means you can still mess with them, either by surprising them with up B or fair, or mess with their timing by using Nair, or just doing side B1 again. Out on quick play and Elite Smash, this will absolutely work on most people. Offline, I mean maybe, but the only time I've been counterplayed while using this is offline, so I use it in moderation on locals, but more against people who have never fought before, I guess, because there's no real way for them to know about it. Until now, I guess, because I just posted this on my huge YouTube channel, but it's free wins online at least.
They trying to be. She wanted me.
Alright, so Corrin, I got some suggestions to cover insta-pin, which is where you jump and side B to bring out the pin lightning quick, but I feel like it's too iconic, it's kind of a staple Corrin thing, so instead I have something that is like Instapin, and it's called the Platform Ledge Cancel. Kind of like the Zero Suit thing, but it's different, trust me. This is a funky ledge drop option. It might not look like it, but this can cover neutral getup, and we know Pin Stipper is pretty nasty. And after practicing this, it's pretty easy to spam on people, which is the main difference that this has from Instapin. I found this from Aliu on YouTube, who has a bunch of cool Corrin stuff on their channel. So go check out this video that has a bunch of other cool Corrin tech, and yeah, this one was hard. Corrin doesn't have a lot of obscure tech. All of their stuff is silly enough to be used all out in brackets, so there's not a lot of obscure stuff. For Bayo, I have some dumb bullshit. This is Witch Strike, and it's an advanced Bayonetta tech that pays tribute to her Smash 4 days, where she could kill you off the top with an inescapable 0-to-death combo by killing you off the top with an inescapable 0-to-death combo. Cool.
Yeah, that's brilliant from Leo. No way! No way! Oh,
basically, Witch Twist, Bayo's up B, has a bunch of hitboxes that are meant to connect into each other. But like pretty much all multi-hit moves in this game, you can always just not land all the multi-hits, and most of the time it just opens up a bunch of possibilities like new combos and whatever, and Witch Twist is no different. Because if you land only this hitbox during the rising part of the move, you can just do it again, and if you're high enough, you can go for a forward air, and cheat. Witch Strike already combos into a second Witch Strike, but it is escapable through SDI, and also it usually doesn't send far enough for it to consistently lead into kills off the top. But if you space it like this and only land this hitbox, all of this goes away because you can't SDI and it'll send higher than normal, which means it will kill off the top better. It sucks, I hate this. Turnaround up Bs or wave bounce up Bs are usually the way to go for this because you do need some funky momentum for this to work, which is good. Because I mean, if this combo was easy, I would need to go set up an appointment with a therapist or something, I don't know. Go check out Pop's video for different ways to combo into it. His video on this is super well made because it also has things like what to do against floaties or fast folders and some good combo routes. And finally, I looked into the Witch Strike thanks to a comment by Bayonetta, so thanks a lot for the suggestion. This character gives me headaches. Alright, for Shulk, we have a true kill confirm that starts killing at 40%. And like most Shulk tomfoolery, this involves his neutral B Monado arts. Here it is. This is the Monado Cyclone. The name is a lot cooler than the actual combo. I have no idea why this is its name. I don't know what's so Cyclone about this. Moving on though, the reason you need to use Speed Art for this is because up air here has 2 hitboxes, and the only way to do a buffered short hop up air and get the second hitbox is with Speed Online. Once you land the up air, you need to buffer another jump while using Monado, so you're jumping while having the Monado dial out, and then quickly use Smash Art, double jump, and up air. This will kill really early, but you obviously need to practice these inputs if you plan on adding it to your game, because it's a pretty tight combo since you gotta switch between arts. And also go check out Meta of Smash's video on this confirm for a way more detailed explanation and tips on landing it more consistently. Alright, I'm editing the video right now, and while I was recording footage for this combo with Shulk, I noticed that the combo counter wasn't going up. So I rewatched the Meta of Smash video to try to see what I was doing wrong, or if I just needed more practice or different controls to make it easier or whatever, and that's when I found out why Shulk players never do this combo. It's frame perfect. I won't get into the specifics, but to make the combo work, you need to use another Shulk tech called Dial Storage, which gives you 1 frame, literally 1 extra frame, and that ends up being the difference that would make the combo counter go up. So I'll leave you guys another video alongside the Meta of Smash one I mentioned for how to dial storage, but even without doing it, this combo can be true if your opponent has a slower air dodge, or they choose to do anything else that lets you land the up air anyway. So yeah, frame perfect. Let's move on. Pokemon Trainer was really hard to choose because there's a really obvious pick for their staple tech, which is Quick Swap, that lets you swap between Squirtle, Ivy, and Charizard better. And apart from that one tech, everything else on YouTube about Pokemon Trainer is just like really useful guides, but you know, I'm looking for stuff that maybe is a little less useful. So you know what, I play PT a lot and I'm just gonna pick my own stuff. So I hope it doesn't end up being too obvious, but I don't think it will be. I think this stuff is cool. Squirtle's F Smash is surprisingly strong, and if you don't play PT, you might not even know this because the average online warrior Pokemon trainer never tries to kill with Squirtle. But you can get a tech chase with F-Tilt, and if you catch a missed tech, you can jab lock and scoot your opponent forward with the second jab, and it'll make this kill even earlier because you get better positioning. Alright, Pokemon Trainer. What was I thinking here, man? Like, this is not a tech. It's like the Squirtle kill confirm. Here's something else. Alright, so I just remembered why I chose this tech for Squirtle. I was like, nah, you know, for sure I can find something cooler, and I just couldn't, man. There's nothing about Squirtle on YouTube. I actually struggled so much to find something here. So, make sure to use your neutral B more when you're in disadvantage. It'll help you skip the ledge trapping phase every now and then. Is that good enough? Alright, let's move on. You guys have 2 other characters anyway. So, you know, I think you can handle one. Yeah, you know, yeah. Razor Leaf is really good at covering get-up options in general, but especially in platforms because rolling away can't save you, and because Ivy does this while in the air, which means it's easier to get follow-ups with her amazing aerials or even up smash for a hard read. My bad if this is too obvious, but Ivysaur is really fun in this game, and I rarely see her side B be used offensively. I pretty much always see it as a zoning tool or to help approach, but rarely as part of a combo. It's pretty cool. If you fought any Bowser or Charizard, you'll know they love to use neutral Bs at ledge, and I never really thought much of it because it's good damage, sure, but it'll never kill you or gimp you. Like, you can just use up again or wait it out if you have a tether. But ideally, you still don't want to get hit by it, right? They can do a lot of damage, and for heavies like Bowser and Charizard, that can pretty frequently end up being a big deal because they can kill really early sometimes. A lot of the time, the counterplay to this is to just recover high. So a tip for next time you're ledge trapping with Charizard, after you've done this a couple times and you know your opponent is gonna go out of their way to avoid it, just stand there and call out their option. I know it's just conditioning, I'm sorry if this is too basic or too simple, but I still thought this was interesting because this might be like the one best introduction to conditioning opponents. It's super straightforward. I think it's the most basic low-level example of conditioning. So if you're new to this game or you're new to trying to be good at this game, just do this, because he gets so much off of callouts and reads, as do most heavies, and this is just like a 50-50. Either they do this or they do the other thing. Standing there menacingly without using flamethrower and just waiting for your opponent's approach is actually pretty good, and it really helps Charizard's ledge trap game. Alright, for Pac-Man, we have the Nuke. I found this video by Purple Debo, and the name of the tech was too cool for me to ignore it. And unlike Shulk's Cyclone thing, the name for this tech is actually super appropriate, because this is a true combo that either breaks shields or does like 60% in less than a second and will probably set up for an edge guard. All you gotta do is get the key in your hand, so not charged neutrally, it has to be in your hand. The easiest way to get it like this is by throwing it under the stage and catching it after it bounces back. But Purple Debo's video can show you a couple other ways to get the key in your hand. And after that, all you have to do is be above your opponent, Z-drop the key and down B as soon as you can and go for an air. It's pretty stupid. I like this combo very much. Also, go check out the video I used in the description if you want more info. Like other aerials you can use instead of Nair depending on what situation you want to create. Like if you want an edge guard, if you just want damage, the aerial you do out of down B can vary, so good luck doing it. This combo is pretty easy, it does a lot of damage, and the only real setup required to do it is getting the key in your hand. And after some practice, that's probably going to be really easy, right? What's up, my plumbers? Plumber is their word. Pocket Mario here. I'm looking to lab out funky stuff with Mario. What is your favorite weird Mario tech? He has no tech. Alright. Alright, plan B. I saw this once and I have to know what happened here. Is there a way to do this intentionally? Alright, plan C. I'm gonna look into this montage of Kurama's Mario and find something cool. And I found something cool. It might be a little too obvious, but if you're a Mario man, you get it. He's a pretty straightforward character. So instead of going into a specific technique or whatever, I'm gonna look into how Kurama manages to combo into fair out of up air so consistently. Never mind, there's nothing to it, just fast fall it. Alright, as satisfying as this feels to land, I feel bad for having this be Mario's tech for this series. I feel like it's too obvious or too simple. So you know what, to balance this out, you Mario mains are gonna get a little lightning round. Hopefully this does your people justice. Alright, number one, Mario has a crazy combo game, we know this. But at 0%, a combo a lot of players use is up throw into downer into up air. It only deals around 30%, but a lot of people go for it anyway because his combo game is a lot more flexible at this percent than it is at 0. Number two, learn how to turn around your up smash next time you're mashing it on someone, because the back of the hit comes out at frame 6, so if you don't turn around your up smashes regularly, you're missing out. This move might be a lot better than you think. Number 3, down air is your only multi-hit move. It has some cool combo potential if you land with it. Number 4, this character has no lag on any of his moves. It's crazy, just mash. Alright, number 5, the cape trick. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just thought this one was too obvious, but then I did these three, and it's like, I should have just added this one anyway, right? So, the cape ledge trump thing. You can get a really easy ledge trump by just running off and side being towards the stage. It's so much easier than it looks, trust me. Ledge trumps are super fun, but at the same time, even if you never get anything out of it, it forces people to input their ledge options faster in the future out of the fear of getting trumped, which is great for whoever's ledge trapping, because it makes reacting to people's ledge options a lot easier. Cool. For Wolf, I'm looking into Shine combos. A lot of you probably already know that Shine has some combo potential, but for Wolf's turn, Shine is so cool. We all love Wolf. Everybody knows how to play Wolf. If you don't know how to play Wolf, yes you do. So I decided to make this segment a little Shine combo guide. Shine combos are too versatile for me to just give you one combo, so I'm just gonna give you the move's properties and some examples of what it can do instead. By the way, Derivative made a really good guide for this. The link to his video will be with all the other ones, and alright, let's get into it. Shine's hitbox comes out on frame 6, which is kind of insane because this is faster than all of his aerials and you can act after frame 30. It has bad range though, you need to be really close to your opponent, and it also does mess with Wolf's amazing airspeed, but it still works as a combo starter and extender. Shine does deal damage, so it can help with tagging a little bit of extra damage if you ever feel like that 5% is gonna be the difference, who knows. Wolf has a super flexible combo game. Fair or Nair can help you set up for a Shine, but also you can just jump and Shine, and this works. So Shine combos out of shield are a thing, but your opponent has to be super close to you because again the hitbox is really small. Check out Derivative's guide for more info on DI and a bigger list of follow-ups, but what I've learned after a little while in trading mode is that it sets up into a bunch of stuff and even back air into sweet spot side B So that's really cool, but the combo window is tight, so this does take some practice if you want to do these combos against a real person consistently. A thing Wolf can struggle with is that a lot of his combo starting options are falling aerials, so a Rising Shine out of shield does a pretty good job trying to patch this weakness off. Big thanks to Tumultuous Tortellini for suggesting this in part 1 of the series. You rock, this was super fun to learn and it makes Wolf like 10 times more fun to play. For Wario, we have a really crazy one. It's called the Dumpy Jumpy. Here it is. I like this combo for a few reasons. It's basically no risk, it's good damage, it kills, it looks really cool. It can be tricky to learn, but here's how you do it. All you have to do is throw it to an opponent hanging from ledge or on their way back to the ledge and short hop footstool them after they get hit with the bike, and this is where the loop starts. The bike bounces straight up for some reason, cool physics, and after it bounces, go back for another footstool. And thanks to this footstool, you are now keeping your opponent in place, and also this makes them able to be hit by the bike again. This obviously takes some practice, but you can do it a bunch of times, and you can finish off the combo with an aerial or waft, and it's pretty nasty. Something I like about this combo a lot is that you can choose to send your character straight down or straight away. So if they have a really horizontal recovery like DK, you can choose to send him straight down, but for characters who like to recover low like Min or Chrom, you can send them away. All of this depends on your timing of the footstool. Doing it early sends them lower, doing it late sends them out. I found this deck from C Stack Down, a Wario player who sadly hasn't uploaded for a while, but you know, this is a great guide. I never play Wario and I could get this a few times in training mode, and there aren't any crazy inputs here. It's pretty much just the timing and positioning that makes this something you should practice. For Roy, we have the Jab Vortex, and it's so good and it looks so cool, and I totally picked this because it had a cool name. We know Roys love to combo jab into back air or side B all the time, and these confirms kill really early. But they're also position dependent, meaning Roy's iconic Jair or jab back air at center stage will kill significantly later than if you were to do it at ledge. But thanks to the jab vortex, if you get it, this weakness just goes away. So let's say we jab Mario here, and we can go for a back air and it's good damage, and maybe if we did this at ledge it would have killed, but at center stage, he's too far away from the blast zone, it's not gonna kill. But if you jump and land the first hit of Nair with good timing, we can move the plumber closer to the right, and now back air can kill. This isn't a true combo, but it is a really tight string, and air dodges and jumps are reactable, so if you practice it and practice reactions, it can still be consistent. And if your opponent chooses to do anything else to escape that doesn't come out in time, like an aerial or a jump, then there's pretty much nothing stopping you from keeping the loop going, and now you can get a kill off jab from anywhere in the stage. I love Roy, Roy's our boy. I want to thank Lucas from my Discord for requesting this and sending me this great guide by Insight. I got a couple suggestions from you guys in the comments to do the jab vortex for Chrom instead, so yeah, Chrom can also do this, but don't worry Chrom fans, Chrom's tech is going to be something different. I'm not doing repeats if the characters don't share a spot on the tier list. Pit and Dark Pit might be an exception if we cover arrows. I don't know, we'll get there. For Sora, I considered Nair loops and I got some suggestions for it. Those are really cool, but one of my rules here is that it can't be something too iconic or too obvious, and everybody knows about this, right? Even if you don't know how to do it, I don't know how to do it, but everybody knows what these are, right? So as cool as these look, I'm gonna talk about something a little more low-key, which is Ledge Slip for Raga. And at a glance, it might not look as cool, but this has the potential to destroy recoveries who stop being good after losing a double jump. And it also puts Sora in a really good spot to get an edge guard or to extend an edge guard. The way it works is that by using Faraga, Sora's neutral B, when he gets all dorky and yells fire, gives him a little bit of a boost upwards on the frame. The spell starts to come out, but only while he's not touching the ground. This doesn't work with other spells sadly, but if you run off the ledge and time Faraga right, you can time it to come out right as Sora leaves the ledge, and the fireball will be sent right next to the ledge, which will very often force your opponents to use up one of their recovery options, so like an air dodge or a jump, or maybe they'll fast fall and recover low, but if they do that, then that's where Sora ends up after doing the ledge slip. So it's a really strong edge guarding tech. Just remember to do it in time, because if you do it too early, people can just recover high on you. Thanks to Dusty Carpet for this tech. They uploaded a really good and easy to understand guide for this. The link for his guide will be with all the other ones. For Pikachu, I wanted to cover Double Up Zip, or DUZ, which lets him use his up B in the same direction twice, but apparently this is like a controversial tech because it's only reliable if you use one of these Goofy Town controllers, and it's so hard to do consistently or at all on any regular controller. And I even went into the Pikachu Discord to try and figure out if there was any possible simpler way to do it on a controller, and instead I found people talking about whether or not this should be banned for it being essentially a glitch or for giving pad controllers an advantage. So, Thunder is a combo breaker. Alright, Pikachu is a difficult character to combo. He's a tiny little hoe, he has a frame 2 air dodge, and it gets worse because his down B Thunder can work as a frame 2 combo breaker that can kill, or combo depending on what you choose to do. Everyone's favorite bald person Isan covered this in his own video, so go check it out for more info, but I'll summarize it here. Thunder doesn't reach Pikachu for a while after using it, but the cloud spawns in at frame 2, and even if Pikachu gets hit, if those 2 frames have passed, Thunder's coming out. So if you're getting comboed and you're mashing your air dodge to try and get out, other times you can just mash Thunder and do this. But it gets worse because not only can you combo off it, but you can also just still get the strong hit of Thunder, which is this one when Pika gets hit with the Thunderbolt, and just kill off a no risk frame 2 combo breaker as long as your target isn't too far. Even if you're in hit stun, all you have to do to get the strong hit instead of the weak hit is press down B again, which is crazy. You get to choose if you want to use your combo breaker to combo or to kill. Pikachu is busted. I said it, I said the thing. For Palu, we have something related to Nair. Whoa. Pop-up Nairs are a cool way to use Nair to combo into a bunch of stuff, and I learned some cool stuff about this move because I always thought it was one of those multi-hit moves that hit a million times, and while it is a multi-hit, there's actually only 3 active hitboxes in this move. These 2 that spin around Palu, which normally combo into each other, and the finisher that does the knockback. And if you land only this part of the lower of the 2 hitboxes while landing on a grounded opponent, so right at the start basically, it pops them up, and this works as a combo tool or a kill confirm. Cool. Thanks to the Palu Discord for the tips. If most of the Samuses you fight are online, you'll mostly see them picking flat stages in their preferred rule set, and they'll camp you out with projectiles and spam down B at ledge and then use further to get back on stage. But if you've ever seen or fought a dedicated competitive Samus player, you'll know that this character is actually really cool. This tech is gonna tune into her really cool movement, and it's the air dodge cancel Zair. Samus Zair is really good. It's a space check, it's good platform pressure, it's quick, it can do a lot of things. It's used a lot in neutral, you get it. This tech plays around with Zair's flexibility because the thing you can do is use it out of charge shots animation in the air, where Samus is usually vulnerable or at least easier to approach because she has less options. If you air dodge while charging neutral B, you have a 3-frame window to cancel it into Zair. You can always cancel air dodge into a Zair, but the air dodge you get while doing it out of charge shots animation comes out later, so the timing is different than a regular air dodge cancel into Zair. This is cool because by charging neutral B, you can bait out approaches and then stuff them out, which will annoy people or make people respect you more in the air. Samus has really cool movement once you start exploring her kit, and this is a really cool thing to do in game once you practice it enough to get consistently. This video by Smash Technicians was where I learned this. They go into other cool applications for it, like reversing it for cool edge guard setups or surprise approaches and tether canceling at ledge. So go check out their video if you felt like I called you out earlier when I was dunking on online warrior Samuses. Yeah, just to be clear, you usually can't Zair out a neutral B's charging animation. That's why this is a tech. If you do this input, then you can. Just to avoid any confusion, because I rewatched this after uploading it and I was like, this could be misunderstood pretty easily if I don't remind people that Zair out of the charge shot charge animation is usually not possible. So yeah, it's usually not possible. The tech makes it possible. That's the tech. Cool. Yoshi is another character with an amazing Nair, except this time I was able to find a bunch more stuff for him, mainly the shield break setup with his side B egg roll.
They come with that one.
And at first I was like, no way I'm choosing this, you're never gonna land this on someone, but then I realized that this works on people who go for neutral get up shield, which might be the most used ledge option next to jumping. So here's how you do it. Basically, Yoshi's egg roll keeps going for a while, and you don't have to press anything after your initial side B input for this to happen. You can cancel it by pressing B. If you're up on a platform or the edge of the stage and roll in with this move, but don't press anything, you just hang out here and you can hit your opponent's shield once, and then again if you flick your left stick, and again and again and again if you keep flicking it until the shield breaks. If you do this fast enough, they'll be locked in their shield. So just make sure you don't accidentally hit them with up B on your way back to the stage and mess up your punish. Thanks a bunch to Myriad for recommending this tech to me over on my Discord. You're a cool feller. Let's move on to the guy in the thumbnail. Unless you got the Kazuya one or the Roy one, I made 3 thumbnails. So for Cloud, I got some suggestions for the Climb Hazard ledge jump. It's the up B, it has a funny name, and at first I thought it was too obvious because a lot of Cloud players do it, but I've been playing a lot of Cloud casually lately, and I've come to realize that this is like way better and easier and more fun than I thought it was. It opens up a whole new way to punish people at ledge as Cloud, and if you have good movement, it makes his ledge trap game even scarier and surprisingly more in-depth because, I mean, alternatively, you can just mash back her and win, but if you want to be cool, here's what you do. So regular ledge jumps can be inconsistent, they can take a lot of practice, especially on faster characters, but Cloud can use his up B to cut some corners here and do it really easily if you just run off and B reverse your up B, and you get the usual stuff you get from a ledge jump with a way easier input. Now if this was all I had for Cloud, then I would have chosen something else, because if you're a Cloud player you probably already know about this, except there's more, because like any other good strat, once you get it, people are gonna try to avoid it, which is when you can start to do this instead.
Sparkle forcing a specific recovery pattern, and after that just gonna go ahead and execute on that Firefox you have.
Oh my goodness!
So this is a cool way to mix people up. They might think you're going for another ledge drop, but if you end up a little farther away or double jump and then up B, this version of the move catches people skipping ledge on you, it catches ledge jumps, double jumps, and it either ledge jumps or just spikes them if you hit them with up B before they even reach the ledge. I learned this second part from Shox's, go check out his video, and also Climb Hazard Enjoyer, nice name, was another guide I used to learn the original up B ledge jump setup. Min Min's tech is the Double Dragon Laser, or DDL, and if you've ever seen those videos of her like jump scare looking combos where you're suddenly dead after getting hit once, this is likely what's happening. You need Smash Stick for this, so switch your C Stick back to Smash. I'm not sure if Min Min players usually play with Smash Stick on. Me personally, I think Smash Stick is a sin. I love to spam tilt attacks, but Min Min is an exception here because, I mean, she has a funky design, I don't know. What you do here is shoot out a Dragon Laser smash attack with B and your left stick, and then use your C Stick to shoot out a second one. Shooting 2 arms at a time is nothing new. Every Min Min should know how to do this, but the techie part here is making both of these shoot out the laser. To do it, you're supposed to not let go of the B button while using your C stick, so it's a weird input. But you get some cool results, it's a great shield break punish, and you can do these in opposite directions, but still, this play is kind of outclassed because Ram Ram and Megawatt exist, but it still has uses as a horizontal edgeguard tool and as a weird looking seer to depth. Thanks a lot to Squishy on my Discord for some of the footage you're seeing here, and for helping me have to use Min Min as little as possible. For the character that makes me cry myself to sleep every night, we have the reverse CTC, like the organization. So crouch dash cancelling is kind of a must-know Kazuya tech, but reverse crouch dash cancelling is a cool movement mix-up tech that makes the big angry Japanese man really slippery. It reminds me of Joker's gun dash from part 1 of the series. Here's how it works. Step 1, you menacingly approach your victim with a bunch of crouch dashes, turn around and jump. Fast fall and crouch dash, and you can play around with your opponent's reactions and panic inputs, or also just crouch back towards them and kill them because you're Kazuya and your combos are broken. You can also do this on platforms, and I'll be real, as much as I really struggle fighting against this guy, this is kind of cool, I like it. Meta Knight is a funky guy, and I got some suggestions from a bunch of you, and at first I thought you guys were messing with me because come on, swag fail. Sewer slide, no way this stuff is real, right? I have no idea why this is called the swag fail, but it's a thing Meta Knight can do with a side B that makes it an insanely consistent 2-frame option. A successful 2-frame is what we call when you catch someone during the 2 frames of vulnerability they get when they snap to the ledge, and it's usually not an easy thing to do, but with this tech you can get it more consistently, and it's super easy to do too. All you need to do is go for a side B, then down on your left stick and let go, and this will catch people going to ledge. And it's funny, what the hell is this? Thanks a bunch to Digino24 for the suggestion. I'll be real, I completely thought you were messing with me with the names for the text you gave me, but no, it's real. And I found this tutorial by SredTM on Twitter, who learned it from the Meta Knight Discord server. So I'll leave a link to their tweet in the description along with all my other sources. I still couldn't find what the sewer slide is though. Inkling is a character that can struggle to kill sometimes, but also roller exists, and this tech makes it so you can get even more off roller even if your opponent is super good at mashing. This is the tap shot. It's a tech that is not too difficult to learn, and it makes your up smashes from berry kill even earlier, because thanks to this tech you'll be able to charge it for longer. The way it works is that by quickly jumping and B-reversing your neutral B splatter shot after burying someone and only hit your opponent with 1 or 2 shots, this makes it so that when they pop out of the berry they will always be right in front of you. This I guess isn't really unique to Inkling in the sense that there are other characters with berry moves that can make their opponents exit the berry state like this, but I like this one because B-reverse splatter shot is really cool, and Inkling does struggle killing sometimes, and being able to charge your smash attacks for just a few more frames can actually really impact how early it'll kill. The animation for anyone escaping being buried like this is 12 frames, plus an extra frame that gets added after you hit them with a splatter shot, which means you can charge an up smash for a maximum of 13 more frames, and also guarantee you'll land it because again they'll always pop out right in front of you. If you want to do this on reaction, it's really difficult to react to this this and always get the 13 frames, obviously. I don't even know if that reaction time is possible, and if it is, I don't even know if being that precise consistently is possible. So it's more about anticipating it and just charging it a little longer without getting too greedy, instead of just doing an instant up smash. I got this info from a video by Icarus Magnus, who has a great channel with a bunch of Inkling tech, so shout out to him. Cool guy, cool tech. I hate roller. So Mega Man's tech is the leaf catch, and this one's interesting because he's not usually supposed to be able to do a lot while his down B leaf shield is around him. But if you're up on a platform and shoot out your metal blade down, you can press down B to bring out the leaf shield and then press down and Z at the same time to catch the metal blade as you descend from the platform. I don't know a lot about Mega Man, but I know metal blade is one of his best moves, and this tech opens up a bunch of opportunities for cool combos and stuff, as well as a safer way to pressure with projectiles. Having two out at the same time opens up a bunch of cool possibilities. In the description you'll find a link to Mega Man's guide for this, and also here's a link for the tweet he found this from. For Ness, we have one that is kind of detailed. This is almost an entire page on my Google Docs, but we have the Flying Held Magnet. I think a lot of you expected some PSI magnet combos, and yeah, you're right, okay. But I think this one's different, because usually when I see crazy Ness setups with his down B, I'll see him use it like this. So using down B twice, but with this tech you'll use it once even though it still hits twice. So that's weird. I haven't seen that before. This tech is frame perfect, but according to this video by Nessboy12, it's not that difficult after some practice, especially because the frame perfect part of the setup doesn't involve your opponent yet. So you can just practice this whenever. Yeah, so I made a mistake here. I wasn't doing it right. This is my bad. Thanks to BRock.91 for letting me know. Oopsie. I'm not even gonna try to get it right this time because I don't want to get it wrong again. So I'll replace the upcoming footage with some more of Nessboy12's clips instead of my attempts at it. Sorry, everybody say thank you Nessboy in the comments. The input is you jump, and while in the air hold forward and double jump, and then down B on the next frame. This is to ensure you get the most momentum possible, and again, yeah, this is frame perfect, but since you're not comboing anyone just yet, you can practice this in training mode or in between stocks or whatever and move on to the next step when you feel ready. You can do this input after landing a falling upper, for example, and once you get the first hit of down B, hold it down and it'll combo into the second hit as long as your opponent is still in the air. And it's a great way to tag on some extra damage, get better positioning, or set for an edge guard, or just kill. It's really cool. People can DI out of this. Your best bet here is to anticipate it and maybe end the combo early if you want to play it safe. It can also loop into itself if you go for another falling upper after the second magnet. So that's really cool. Again, this video by Nessboy12 was where I learned this. Go check out this video for a bunch of more info, like more combo routes and what to input depending on your opponent's DI and characters that can air dodge out and stuff. The link will be with all the other ones, and now we can move on to the other child in this video. For the big man, we have the platform drop C4, and it's a great way to get better control of your bombs because usually these explode on impact, unlike Link's remote bomb and Young Link's bomb that can chill on the floor for a while, but through some cool inputs you can place them on platforms or floors and get cool ledge trap setups or just trap certain areas of the ledge. Bombs don't do a lot of damage or knockback, but that's a good thing because Toon Link has really cool aerials and combos, and thanks to this tech you'll be able to push your advantage state more, and it also looks really cool. There are a bunch of ways to do it, but the easiest I would say is to just drop down on the platform and with good timing Z drop it, or to run off a platform, fast fall and Z drop it. The reason the timing is tight here is because Toon Link actually does a flip when he runs off the platforms, which means you need to time it so the Z drop comes out right when the arm is holding the bomb closer to the floor than the rest of his body. The whole reason for this arm thing is that because these bombs explode on impact, the game probably measures the momentum these bombs have when they hit the ground or something, and that's why they blow up. And if you do this, then they barely have any momentum or no momentum at all, and there's not enough force for them to blow up. This might look difficult, but it really isn't. It's not a matter of looking at Link and pressing Z when the arm is at the right spot. You could just go into training mode and get the rhythm down, and I'm sure it'll be like second nature after some practice. It's pretty cool, and again, it lets you set up for a bunch of stuff like ledge traps or cool hazards you can set across the stage that will let you combo off them if the explosion hits. I got this info from a couple different videos. Shout out to those guys. Go take a look for more info on ledge traps and other cool stuff you can do. What's up Reddit? This video is sponsored by me. Check this out. I made another channel. It's mostly just stuff from my live streams. For example, we're doing a Persona 5 drunk stream right now, and we made a drunk Lucina matchup chart. If you're part of my Lucina main audience, I know there's a bunch of you, so if you're quick, you might catch me before I upload more stuff, but I plan to upload a bunch more things, like that one time I got bullied by Elite Smash Kens and other games. Is the worst shit, man. I covered that shit. The streams are here on the main channel, but if you like me, if you think I'm cool, the link is in the description, so come hang out if you so desire. I have a cut in my tongue. Let's move on. I found something really cool for Ken. It was in this video by Mac the Knife, and it's called the Hadouken Snap. It's a really cool tech that punishes people for dropping shield early. So alright, all of Ken and Ryu's aerials are unsafe on shield, but this is fine for them because they can always cancel their aerials into specials, and they can actually end up being the ones punishing you for trying to punish them. This is a pretty crazy privilege because it ends up making all of their aerials really safe on shield if you just cancel them into another move. If your timing is perfect though, and you cancel an aerial into side B or up B, your opponent will be locked in their shield. Their neutral B, Hadouken, is the only special other than Focus that you can cancel out of an aerial that can't lock your opponent in their shield, but it still comes out really quickly when cancelled. So Hadouken becomes a really cool option to punish people dropping shield after blocking your aerial. The Hadouken snap is a bait. I'm not saying you should do this every time you land on a shield with an aerial, because your safest option will pretty much always be side B to get away or maybe poke a shield, but it's a fun way to punish shield grabs, and you can still get some cool stuff off it, like maybe read a jump or go for a grab, or maybe you'll get the trip. But it gets a little crazier than just punishing shield grabs. For example, Zero Suit Samus' jab comes out frame 1, and she still can't punish this, but this is because when you drop shield there are 11 frames of animation lag, and if you do this right, Ken's auto cancel Hadouken comes out before that animation ends. So it's a way to punish people trying to be greedy and punish your landing aerials with any move that doesn't bypass the 11 frame animation, like a really fast up B out of shield or a really fast aerial. For Hero, we have what's probably my favorite tech on this list and the one I'm most excited to learn. It's the Ledge Slip Kaswoosh. Thanks to Onga Bunga SSBU, nice name, for the recommendation. Here it is. So if you remember Sora's tech from last episode, you might remember something called a ledge slip, and it's actually a thing anyone can do, and there are a bunch of methods to do it, like crouching or jabbing. It's basically just using a move right as you descend from a ledge, and the difference between doing a ledge slip and just running off and using a move is that a ledge slip lets you stay closer to the ledge while you do it, and you can also do the move a little bit earlier. And thanks to this, if you're playing Hero, you can do this with your up B, and it gives you some really cool looking combos. This is a fun way to catch low recoveries, especially if they have no hitboxes, so it's good at 2-framing, and it deals a whole bunch of damage, or most likely, it'll just kill. To do this, you need to line yourself with the edge of the stage, use up B, move your left stick away from the stage and then towards it, and if you time this right, you can get a bunch of stuff, mainly down air or back air, or neutral B if you want to be cool. Back air seems to be the most consistent, but I think most of the time the option depends on where your opponent ends up. For example, if Fox here ended up more towards the right, so away from the ledge, then back air would be better. But if he's here on the center, then maybe down air is better. And if you want crazy damage and you're sure they won't tech the stage spike, you can get Saucy and shoot out a Frizz, and you can do 1,000,000 damage. This deck is insanely fun. The link I used to learn this will be with all the other ones. So for Rosa, I got a bunch of fun suggestions, but as soon as I saw this comment by KevSB07 way back in part 1, and I read the words twerk locking, I was like, alright, I don't care what this tech is, I'll cover it. By the way, do not look up Rosalina twerk locking on YouTube. You're gonna get porn. I had to join the Discord to get some info. So because Rosa is a really technical character, I'm assuming there's more than one way to get it right, but after looking into some info on the Discord, I found this video and people were mostly agreeing that this is the easiest way to set up for it, so here it is. Basically what's happening here is something called a desync. Usually when you use your controller, both Rosalina and Luma respond to your inputs, but if you ever want only Luma to act, then a good way to do this is to input a move while Rosa is about to land from her up B, so in free fall. If you time it right and hold A, Luma's rapid jab will continue and Rosa will be free to move. And the reason this is called twerk locking is because rapid jabs always push the opponent away to prevent them from being infinite, but if you position yourself like this and crouch towards your victim to prevent them from getting pushed out, you can hold them here for a while. It's up to you, it's up to how good you are at twerk locking. Alright, for Rosa we have a pretty important correction. I missed the joke here. I should have said depends on how good you are at throwing it back. That's it. Alright, bye. And it also depends on where you're at in the stage, and most of the time you can finish this off with a smash attack, and it's great damage and it'll probably kill. It's kind of cool, it's kind of cool. Don't look up twerk locking. It's porn, you're gonna get porn. This tech comes from our very own Justin Byleth, who subscribed, you know, not to brag or anything, subscribed to the channel, and he left this comment about something called, I don't know, he didn't give it a name, so we're just gonna call it Justin's Ledge Trap, even though, you know, I don't know if he's the one who came up with it, but I'm the biggest YouTube channel on YouTube right now, so he gets to claim it. So Byleth has a really strong ledge trap game. Nair and Fair cover a bunch of options. F smash can catch people sleeping on you. If we ledge jump someone at above 45%, they can eat a mean spike, and this is all really fun, but here's another fun mix-up that you're probably not using a lot as Byleth. So what you do is next time you're ledge trapping, usually Byleth's most simple and common and consistent ledge trap setup is to short hop Fair or short hop Nair and maybe mix up your timing. It covers a bunch, it hits hard, Nair can combo, it's pretty cool. Once your opponent catches onto this, they'll likely take their time here and try to make it so their get up option will come out during a window when they won't get hit with Fair. So right as soon as you land, for example, which is why they won't be expecting a surprise descending aerial side B to throw off their timing. If you do it right with this deck, you get a huge hitbox that hits generously below the ledge. It's big enough to punish ledge drop double jumps. It's optimal for when your opponent respects you at the ledge enough to hang out here while thinking about their options. And if you miss it, there's a chance you won't get punished for it because of how big this move is, so you can either run back and punish a greedy get up attack or just keep your traditional ledge trap going. This deck helps a lot because usually our only reliable options to punish people hanging from ledge are downer, going for a ledge jump, or F smash sometimes, all of which can work great and are really strong, but there can also be some risk involved. F smash and downer have a bunch of lag, and going for a ledge jump means risking getting rid of your position, but with descending aerial side B, it has some lag, I guess, but it can still be safe if you space it right, as long as you don't fumble the timing completely right, and also as long as you remember that this move comes out at frame 21 in the air, so it's pretty slow, which means you can't mash it. If you miss and your opponent reacts in time, then you can get punished for it, so make sure you practice it and pay attention to your opponents and only use it when you feel like it'll work. And when it'll work is again when your opponent starts to respect you at the ledge a little more, when they start to take their time, right? But also if you feel like they're gonna time their get up option expecting a forward air, or if you know they like to jump and recover super high, you're gonna get a lot of people jumping on you if you like to ledge trap with F smash as much as I do. It hits really hard, but again, it's not entirely risk-free. It gets easier to time this the more you practice it and the better you are at calling out timing. If you have the trading mode mod pack, this is super easy to practice. I sure as hell will, because this comment made me pick Byleth up as a secondary again. Thanks a lot, Justin Byleth, Mr. Byleth. Finally, the pits were really difficult because they have some really straightforward moves, and the most I could find at a surface level is the side B ledge cancel, and that's cool, but I feel like that's kind of a cop-out, so I went on a mission to find something weird, and I found something that is not that weird, but it's a fun input, and it makes these two struggle a little bit less when being ledge trapped, which is always a fun thing. I found this on a video by Krontex Pit, and it has a bunch of pit and dark pit stuff, and this applies to both pits, and it's the arrow from ledge. And I know some of you will be a little confused because it really doesn't look like that big of a thing, but if you drop down from ledge while hanging from it and jump and shoot an arrow, hold your left stick towards the stage, you shoot an arrow and land on the stage, and if you don't hold your left stick, then you go back to hanging from ledge. And what you gain by doing this is in intense situations, if you're being ledge trapped, your opponent is going to be waiting to react to your get up option. And this is a really cool option to throw off their timing and bait out a punish. It also works if you feel like your opponent is sleeping on the ledge and they're just going to hold a smash attack, or if you think they're bad at the game. Like if you ever feel like not respecting your opponent and you want to get greedy, the arrow can set you up for potential follow-ups. Not true follow-ups, of course, but people are prone to miss inputs when hit with weak moves like Pit's arrows. Maybe they'll drop shield and do up out of shield or something, and you'll just be there like, alright, cool, time to punish. This does leave you open though. If you grab the ledge again, you won't have invincibility, and if your opponent doesn't take the bait and you're standing there, you can get punished. But I feel like it's a fun thing to try if you feel like your opponent is stressing and they just want to get their ledge trap and finish the game already. Or again, if they're sleeping on you, if it's a skill issue and they're just bad, like you can just give them a poke and see what they react with and punish the reaction, or at least get out of the corner, which is always nice. Choosing a pit for tech. What? Choosing a tech for pit was really difficult. Please let me count it as a pit tech. Captain Falcon's tech is the double up air from ledge. Falcon's up air is amazing, and landing the second up air here opens up a bunch of opportunities because again, it's up air. Falcon players love landing this move, and also landing it closer to the ground means you have more leeway to follow it up with whatever you want. This may look simple, and the input kinda is, but the reason I call this an actual technique and not just going for up air twice is because Falcon usually can't do this. It requires a couple funky inputs, because if you just do the normal drop down and double jump from ledge, you actually can't land the second up air. It doesn't come out in time. So here's how you do it. The only complicated part here is that you need to drift back from the ledge, because these slants here that almost all tournament legal stages have messed with Falcon's momentum and make it impossible for him to get his second up air. So by drifting back, the slant doesn't mess your movement up, and if you buffer a second up air, it'll come out just as you hit the ground. Following the whole slants thing, the easiest legal stage to do this in is Kalos, because it doesn't have that, but you can do it anywhere. Just make sure you get the timing down, because it might vary a little bit from stage to stage. stage. And then as for the things you can get with this up air, it depends on percentage and DI and stuff, but like I said earlier, this is Falcon up air, so anything, you can get anything. It's really cool. I'm gonna show you some of the stuff you can do in like 6 seconds, but before that, thanks to this video by The Goat on YouTube. I'll leave a link to their video in the description if you want more info, along with all my other cool sources. For Luigi, I actually had a really hard time because there's things like using 0 to edge guard or the 0 to death combo or aerial 0 to grab that I could choose, but like I said earlier, I think these are too obvious and I want something that I don't see Luigi's do a lot, so here it is. This is a little trick not a lot of Luigi players do, and it's called empathy. Wind gimping is a trick Luigi players can do sometimes when edgeguarding. If you use this down B cyclone facing the stage while edgeguarding, its windbox pushes people away, which is not supposed to happen apparently. According to Crimson Starfall, who's the owner of the Luigi Discord, this is an actual coding error by Ultimate's developers. Normally, Luigi's Cyclone is meant to have a windbox that sucks people in, and the way it works is that the windbox by default goes towards Luigi's face, but the game checks his front and back sides to flip the windbox direction in case he's using it on someone who's behind him. If it doesn't detect anything or detects someone in front of him, it'll stay the same, but the aerial version of this move is different because it only checks Luigi's front instead of his front and back, which means if you're edgeguarding with this move facing away from your opponent, thanks to some weird coding, the windbox from Cyclone won't detect Roy here, which means it just won't flip and will continue to face towards Luigi's face, and you can just you can just Youngling's tech is the double bomb 2-frame. It's a setup that gives him a 9-frame window to score a 2-frame, which is really generous. A 2-frame is when you catch someone during the 2 frames of vulnerability they have while snapping to ledge. Youngling's bomb is already pretty good at 2-framing, but if you want better odds at getting it, then all you need to do is Z-drop a bomb here and then try to time your bomb throw down, and you'll have a much easier time timing your bomb 2 frames. This works best with characters that don't have the best ledge grabs or have recoveries that are easier to react to, like Arsene Joker's up B or Fox and Falco, and you can follow this up with a bunch of aerials to either kill or set up for more edge guards, if they can even make it back, right? Because they probably will have no jump, right? Thanks a bunch to Myriad on my Discord for recommending this tech to me. This video by Super Semi does a really good job at explaining it. There's actually some stuff I didn't mention, like frame things about how bombs explode on certain frames or something. I don't know. Go check it out. Let's move on. Sephiroth is a character who has a really scary advantage state, but when he's cornered or he's under a lot of pressure, he's not exactly the best at getting out of there sometimes. But thanks to this cool tech I found in this video by Shoxes called the Blade Dash, I think you Sephiroth players are gonna have an easier time getting out of platforms. Here's how it works. If you time it right and jump out of shield, use your up B and quickly move your left stick down, you'll use up B through a platform and it'll catch people lacking. It's a fun, aggressive option to get off platforms with. You can hold up B for a hard punish, and because an air is Sephiroth's only fast-ish aerial, using up B makes it so you can attack as soon as you drop from platforms, something a lot of fighters do, but Sephiroth actually usually can't because his aerials are slow, so this fixes that. It's pretty cool. In Shox's video, you'll find some cool examples of this, along with certain mistakes that can happen, like if you end up not going through the platform and other stuff like that. For Mii Brawler, we have something called the Fortnite Flash. Thanks to M9, SSB, and Legendary Soil 1064 for suggesting this in the comments. It's actually super fun and super useful and pretty easy. So the Fortnite Flash involves flying Mach Punch, one of Brawler's neutral Bs, and it turns this move that is alright into a good out of shield option, a good edgeguard mix-up, and a lot of other stuff actually, because this move usually stalls well in the air, which can be fun and good, but this means that it's not really something you can use as a landing option unless you are purposely trying to mix up your timing, I guess. But people can react to it, and if you don't want to approach with it, then you can't, because this move stops you in your tracks unless you use the Fortnite Flash. If you jump quickly and press neutral B for some reason, this will make it so the move doesn't stall you in the air like it normally would. And you can use this to mix up your landings on people if you're up on a platform. If they block it, they might end up dropping shield early because they're not expecting a multi-hit move like this one. Because again, usually this stalls you in the air, so there's no real reason for why they would be expecting you to land with a multi-hit. And the same goes if you do it grounded. This turns into a B reversible frame 13 out of shield option, which isn't really fast, but is something you'll land sometimes, because, you know, 13 frames isn't bad. And yeah, the whole B-reverse thing is kind of cool, because you usually can't B-reverse this move. I don't know why, but if you do the Fortnite flash input, then you just can. I can't explain it. I don't know why, you just can. This also works if you do it off a platform. So if you master this, you're going to be catching a lot of people off guard, because, well, again, this move is supposed to stall you in the air, right? And now it doesn't. And this move is supposed to be non-B-reversible, and now it is. So this tech lets you play around with these moves properties a lot more than you usually would be able to. Go check out Waidu. He made an amazing, easy to understand guide for this. The link to it is with all the other ones, and yeah, Fortnite, let's go! Where is he? There he is. For Falco, we have a cool edgeguard slash sledge trap setup called the Stall Spike. The Stall Spike is a thing that you can do with Falco's side B. The little sissy liberal spike hitbox that it has is a fun thing to land sometimes, but you'll get it way more often if you use side B towards the ledge and then hold down as you reach the ledge. Holding down makes it so you don't grab the ledge. Every character can do it. I like to do it with Inkling as a mix-up just to mess with people. And Falco can do this and hang out here for a bit with his side B active, and it's a really good way to catch people as they try to recover low. Your opponent has to time the recovery so they don't get to it while Falco's here. The easiest way to set yourself up for this is by just running off and doing it, or jumping off and doing it. I guess you could do it while recovering, but it does require some spacing, and doing a run off side B just naturally sets you up for it. Thanks to William9846 for the idea. You finally got in, man. They've been leaving a bunch of suggestions all throughout the series. Thanks a lot. This deck is super fun. And then also Luke Lighthouser, you called it Lingering Phantasm. I am assuming you meant this tech too. So thanks a bunch to you too. Cool. For Greninja, we have a super cool setup that was shared in this tweet by Appalotion, who sent me a bunch of cool tech for this character. Thanks a lot, man. These are the grab release combos. I've heard stuff about grab release combos in the past, you know, Twitter combos, like when your opponent mashes out as soon as you're going for a pummel and they get released right in front of you and you follow it up with something, but no follow-up here will ever be true. Because when someone's released from your grab, you both end up with even frame advantage, which means you can both act at the same time. But Greninja is a little special here because he doesn't have anything true that can combo out of his grab release, but going for down tilt here can be surprisingly consistent for a bunch of different reasons. Everything just aligns perfectly for Greninja to go for down tilt here. It's frame 5, so already pretty quick, especially considering your opponent will probably be matching out an option and will sometimes end up getting a miss input, which will more often than not end up being something slower than frame 5. But there's more, because even if they shield in time or match out an option that is faster than frame 5, the grab release puts you at a distance where down tilt is safe on shield. And also keeping in mind the low profile here, Greninja ducks down and he can dodge a bunch of stuff. The odds of you getting a down tilt after this kind of grab release are always in your favor. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. This helps Greninja out a lot because he already has some amazing combos, but when it's time to finish a stock, he doesn't get guaranteed kills off throws, or they rely too much on DI, and down tilt doesn't. It's a really good move for Greninja's kill setups, so if you're ever playing Greninja and you're trying to score a kill at high percents, try this out next time. It's pretty fun. My Greninja sucks and I could get this a few times. Thanks a lot to Appalotion for the recommendation. Go check out his channel for some more cool Greninja info. For Olimar, I have one of the weirdest decks I've covered in this series. It's so cool, but maybe it's because I don't know anything about this character, so maybe any tech for this character is cool to me because I don't know anything about him. I didn't even know you could act out of up B until I started researching for this video. This is Reverse Platform Desync Grab, and it's a thing you can do to get your Pikmin to grab while Olimar chills out on a platform like this. And it looks so funky, and you can get a bunch of different follow-ups off it because Olimar's position is different than if you were to go for a normal throw. There's a few ways to set this up according to this video by Sherzo Gavot. Sorry, man, I can't pronounce that. You can pluck Pikmin while jumping on a platform, and if you space it right and time it appropriately, then Olimar will be up here and your Pikmin will be down here. And you can do a bunch of silly stuff with this if you set it up right. Another way to set it up is a lot easier. Just F smash and jump to a platform, this time without worrying about the spacing. And you have a ton of stage control, and if you're up against someone who doesn't really know all that much about Olimar or this setup, which is a lot of people, then there's no way they'll be like, oh, they're doing the reverse platform desync grab, and you'll probably be able to get a bunch of cool stuff off it. Unfortunately, smash attacks don't work with this because if you do this, the little homie will just teleport to you up on the platform, so that sucks. But grabs work just fine, and you could always just drop the setup and keep playing, so there's no risk. If you feel like they're gonna expect a grab or get out of the way or something, then you can just leave, and that's it. There's no risk. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I like it. For Ryu, I felt like your Latin American grandma trying to pronounce the word Netflix. I had no idea what I was doing, and I had to learn to input and pronounce Shakunetsu Hadouken, which in retrospect isn't even that difficult, but I don't know, man. I don't play this character. The Shaku Bounce is an awesome tech I learned from Mac the Knife, whose videos also helped me give you Ken Hadouken Snap last episode, which Ryu can also do, by the way. So you most likely have had this happen to you. You block a projectile and it flies away instead of despawning. It happens sometimes, and it's such an interesting mechanic. I always thought it was just for looks because, I mean, it looks cool, right? And for the most part, it is just a little funny thing that happens, but for Ryu's Shakunetsu Hadouken, because it moves slowly, this can actually help you out if you're quick. If you short hop and use Shaku, you'll hover for a bit, and thanks to this short hop, you will be put in a spot where it'll hit the top of your opponent's shield and refract. And this is the Shaku Bounce, and what this does is it'll make your Shaku safer on shield, it'll set up for shield breaks, and it'll set up for more combos. It's pretty cool. I'll leave a link to Mac the Knife's video on Shaku Bouncing for more info, like setting it up on shorter characters that might low profile the short hop version of it, and some cool combos that you can get. Sheik's tech is Dare Ledge Spacing. This video has had a bunch of weirdly complicated techs, but we're gonna finish off with a simpler one. But just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not actually super crazy and cool. And it gives Sheik a way to... I wrote lethal on my script. I've never used that word before. I don't know why I wrote lethal, but it makes it lethal. Ooh. And it gives Sheik a way to take early stocks, which God knows she needs. Here's how it works. So Sheik's down air is really strong. It's one of Sheik's stronger moves. It spikes for a while, but it's a suicide move, which isn't fun, but a really good way to catch people stalling on ledge is to jab once and down air. If you jab, down air's angle won't send you off the ledge, which is really cool. It's kind of spammable too, and again, down air is one of Sheik's stronger moves, so using it without the risk of killing yourself is really cool. Good luck doing this on Elite Smash though, because people never mix up their ledge get up timing, but I could get it a few times and it works. It's cool. I like it. Just make sure to practice it because I killed myself a bunch of times trying to get it right. But yeah, once you get it to work, you will get some really early kills. So, you're probably not watching this video for Duck Hunt tech. I'm sorry, but I'll promise you this is cool. It might even make you want to pick him up. Not me though, but maybe it'll work for you. This is Shield Can. It's a fun defensive technique you can do as Duck Hunt if you feel like you're being forced into your shield a lot. If someone's being really good at rushing you down, which is not something Duck Hunt wants, here's something you can do to continue being campy in peace. Shield Can involves using Can and sitting in front of it, and now everything that touches your shield will cause it to blow up, and you can kill or get things off it because this is Can, and Can is an amazing move. And then also Duck Hunt doesn't have the best out of shield games, so you know, Can is really good for this. There is a counterplay to it though. If a super well spaced disjoint hits your shield, there's no guarantee it'll blow up, and grabs followed by instant throws will make your opponent invincible for the duration of their throw animation, so it's not a perfect strategy if they know about this tech, but it definitely works more often than it doesn't if you're confident your opponent is being reckless around your shield. I found this from Staya, who made a cool video about it on his YouTube channel, and I got a little more info on the Duck Hunt Discord, so go check them out if you want to know more about cool follow-ups and other fun stuff. For Ridley, we have a recovery mix-up tech. If you set yourself up like this against the ledge and upbeat towards a wall while being a little bit less than half of the distance that he travels with his uppy away, does that sentence make sense? Sorry. If you're close-ish to a wall and you up B into it, you bounce. And if you're a Ridley player, you probably know this already, but there's some cool applications for it. With the wall bounce, you can find creative, offensive, or greedy ways to challenge people at the ledge. It can be a fun way to try and avoid getting punished for re-grabbing the ledge, which doesn't give you invincibility. And this also opens you up to another Ridley tech called the Rid Skid, where you can slide into the stage with up B, which is also fun. If you up B backwards, you can go for a back air, and it's pretty fun. It lets you get really creative with Ridley at ledge. Just don't get punished for it. You're still a big hurt box close-ish to the ledge, so I don't know. I'm imagining this going wrong if you're fighting a character who has a really big disjoint. That can make it a lot easier for you to get punished, but you know, you can still do it. It's fun. Kalos is a super fun stage to try this out on. You can space it to wall bounce into the platforms, and since it has walls, it allows you to mess around with the movement even more. You can also get into the platforms in Northern Cave. That's cool. My first thought when I saw this is, alright, that could help a lot for Ridleys that get their up Bs countered a lot. As a scrub who loves spamming counters for the edge guard, I would not at all try to counter this here. It makes your recovery a lot more flexible, and that is really cool. Thanks to Zeta5 for showcasing this awesome tech on their YouTube channel. Go check it out, link in description. This tech is really cool and really is a really fun character. Cool, let's move on. Alright, Wii Fit's tech is a little weird because I couldn't find anything, so I ended up watching this video by Xavier, Javier, one of these three, called This Is What 1000 Hours of Wii Fit Looks Like, and I saw him do this. So I don't know if this deck has a name. I know there's a bunch of ways you can cancel side B, and in this video he cancels the ball throw by snapping to ledge, and when he does this it falls straight down, and if this goes right you can get a stage spike, you can combo the ball into a down air or the down air into the ball, or if you want to just do it to throw the ball down to cover people far below you, then you can do that too. So it's a cool edge guard setup. If you do nothing then it goes straight down, yeah, but you can also hit it with an aerial and it'll go wherever you send it. That's really cool. And if you want a ledge trump, then you can also just get a ledge trump. It's such a fun way to cover a bunch of recoveries. The way I saw Savior set up for this is he ran off and B reversed his neutral B and then jumps and side Bs facing into the stage, and it naturally sends Wii Fit high enough to snap the ledge for the ledge trump, and it causes the ball to fall straight down unless it's interrupted by anything, you know, like one of Wii Fit's moves, or it hits one of your opponents. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. For Banjo and Kazooie, we have the Nade Glide. Like Ridley, this is another recovery tech, but this time it involves Z catching your down B here, and you'll gain a little less height than you normally would with your double jump, but doing this lets you recover like usual, except you have one of the eggs in your hand and you can throw it above you to defend yourself while recovering. In order to catch the egg bomb like this, you need to jump and down B and Z catch it while holding your left stick behind you, so towards the egg. Make sure you practice this or it'll become a lot harder to get back on stage, but once you get it consistently you'll have a much easier time recovering because you'll have this cool egg to cover you on the way back. It's cool. Yeah, this isn't the Nade Glide. This is me just throwing the egg up. The glide aspect of it comes from when you throw it up towards the ledge and it slides like this. That's it. Cool. Thanks a lot to this video by Gabagoo, Sopranos reference, I think, on YouTube. Go check it out if you want to know more cool banjo tech. I'll leave all the links in the description. You know how it is. Comment if you think this username is a Sopranos reference.
You could have killed those girls. Now that would have been interesting. What? What did you just say? Now that would have been interesting.
Are you trying to get me to lose my temper because I'm
That would
about...
have been interesting.
Lucas up B can get really weird, and I love it. Gracing stage ledges is something I found in this great video by Muffin from Mars, who did an awesome job adding a bunch of fun Lucas PK Thunder tech, so go check him out. But yeah, here's what you do. So if you use PK Thunder almost parallel to a stage's walls, in this example I'm using Kalos because it's easier, but you can do it anywhere, Lucas flies up like this. And if you hold down, you can skip the ledge and he will keep flying. I know this doesn't sound like a tech right now, I know it just sounds like you're just recovering and holding down, but hear me out. There's a bunch of stuff you can do here, and there's a bunch of reasons why this serves as a fun ledge mix-up. So first, on stages with platforms, this is a fun, greedy way to skip the ledge trapping stage. Executing it like this gives Lucas a little more height if you reach the ledge near the end of the move, and you can land on a platform sometimes, even the ones on Battlefield. The extra height you get is another tech called the rocket boosting, but back to this other one, you can also do this with a hitbox and it'll stay active for a little bit. If your opponent has made the mistake of being super close to the ledge, maybe if they're trying to get a ledge trump and they're weird, or they're trying to two-frame you with something, you can hold down like you usually would while doing the earlier part of this deck, but release your left stick early and you'll snap to ledge, but you'll have a hitbox here that will help you nudge your opponents away and give you some room to get back on stage. Angling it wrong can cost you your stock, so you know, just be careful. But once you get it, you'll have a lot more fun getting back to the stage. Thanks a lot to Muffin from Mars. Awesome video. Go sub to them. I really need to sneeze. Hold on. Puff's deck is hilarious. I love it. Option select, parry, rest. Has a bunch of technical stuff to it, and it has a scary name if you aren't a very technical player. But I'll leave a link to this great video by Captain L explaining why exactly this works. But basically, if you do this input as Puff, you can parry things and get a rest. But if you miss the parry, then you get a jump. All of this with the same input, which means the game chooses what the best option is for you, and it just gives you the best option. It gives you a rest on parry, but the risk of missing the parry and getting your rest out of shield punished isn't there, because if you miss the timing, then you just get a jump. So when you drop shield, you have a 5-frame window to parry someone landing on you with an attack. If during the parry, you input your down B and jump, with good timing, you'll get a rest if you get the parry, and you'll get a jump if you shield, but don't get the parry. If you drop shield early, then you get hit. That sucks, unless you just land the rest anyway somehow. It happens sometimes. Option select parrying things into specials is the thing anyone can do. I'm actually gonna lab out option select Lucina side B after this video goes up, but for Puff, it's especially threatening because it's rest, right? It's a way to land one of the most dangerous moves in the game in a much less riskier way. Just make sure you use it on opponents that are bad at spacing or have bad range while landing on you. Otherwise, you can end up getting your option select parry rest, but it won't hit because its hitbox is super small. But when it works really well. Cool. Thanks a lot to Kazu the Pro for leaving this awesome suggestion in the comments from last episode. You're super cool. And again, Captain L, nice video. I thought I was gonna struggle to understand what this even was, but no, it's kind of simple. Just make sure you get the timing down before doing it, or you might end up just jumping and resting at a shield, and you'll look dumb and you'll die. Bowser's pick is the Whirling Mine. It uses his up B, Whirling Fortress, and it's a fun way to edgeguard low recoveries. Somehow this episode we've had a bunch of offstage techs that are more about recovering, except while Ridley's is a more defensive evasive thing and Lucas had a more offensive evasive thing, Bowser's is an edge guarding tech, not a recovery mix-up. Also, this was particularly interesting to me because when I looked this up, I saw this move cause a stage spike for the first time in my life. I had no idea it could do that. I thought it was hard-coded to never stage spike. Am I weird? So the Whirling Mine involves dropping down from ledge, double tapping up B and holding down while pressing B to keep Bowser in place. If you're like me and you don't play Bowser, I think you should go and try this in training mode before going and doing it on a game, because you need to find the right rhythm for how frequently you should be mashing B. But once you get it, it can block low recoveries, it can cause weird looking stage spikes that you'll need to follow up, because this is most likely not a strong enough stage spike to kill off a miss tech, but it's still a really fun thing to try. The drawbacks or weaknesses are about what you'd expect. You'll most likely be giving up stage control to do it. You'll need to be careful on people mixing up their recoveries on you or reversing the edge guard, but overall it's still a good edge guarding trick to do once in a while. It can do a ton of damage too if you trap someone in the vortex, like in this clip from Mika Bowser, who took Greninja here for a ride. Thanks a lot to the Bowser Discord for the suggestion. No video guide for it this time, but character discords are always super nice. So go check them out if you want to hang out with some fun Bowser players. Gunner has an easy answer and a fun answer. The easy answer is the gun dash. Gunner has a really cool fair that sends her backwards and is annoying to deal with, but really fun to do. And it opens up really cool movement options. And the fun answer includes this move, but it's a lot cooler. So this tech, as far as I know, doesn't have a name. Elijahman sent it to me. Go subscribe to his channel. And it's this tweet from Waidu where he explores how Fair's recoil interacts with ledges and platforms. And apparently, if you execute this right, you can do a down tilt and it'll set up for a ledge cancel. And it's a really funky movement option. You can fake people out, make them think you're open for a punish, and then whip out a charge shot, unless you're one of those filthy freaks that don't run charge shot. If you do it on a platform and they block it, your opponent won't be locked in their shield. So it's not really exactly a shield break setup unless they hold shield for some reason. And if they jump, you can call it out with a charge shot or play it safe and go for a fair after you fall, which will hit them during their jump squat, so that's fun. I think the setup might be a little too niche, but I think the most common way to get some cool movement from this is to do it at ledge and use it as a bait on stage. Yeah, go check out Waidu's tweet for more info, more setups, and probably some more applications for it, because I don't I don't know a lot about this character, sorry. Continuing the pattern of anti-edgeguard tech that we've covered a lot for some reason this episode, this tech, I'm not sure if it has a name, but someone called The Showers submitted this to a Beefy Smash Dudes Smash review video from 2022, and it lets you attack after using up B to recover, which is like, what? Whoa. It's really cool. This setup doesn't require R to do it, but if you want an up air, which is the most common option, I mean, you think your no R up air is gonna kill under ledge. But still, if you just want the movement though, it can still be worth using as a recovery mix-up. But yeah, here's how you do it. So if you're recovering and you find yourself aligned with the ledge, you can use up B, angle it down, and then hold your left stick left or right depending on the direction of the stage, and it'll automatically end up forming some sort of like semicircle if you get the spacing right, and you'll end up getting a wall cling. And after this, you can buffer an up air. It's not very big, but it can still catch people that are too close to the ledge. And if you want something else, you can just wall jump in B reverse R's here or whatever. You can do a bunch of cool stuff, a bunch of cool movement, but up air seems to be the most common choice because this move is insane with aura and it will kill really early. Finally, for Link, I had a hard time because I love Link and I play him a lot, but there's also some really obvious tech. Like there's the T-Spike, there's bomb loops, which are too iconic for this video. That's all about obscure tech, and there's not much else I could find. But this is where I come in because I play Link a lot for fun, and something I like to do is throw bombs towards the ledge as I run off, and it can open up a bunch of silly ways to edgeguard, and the angles you can get from throwing the bomb under the ledge can vary from stage to stage. So it's a tech you Link players are gonna have to do a little homework for and study the angles, right? But the reason I like this tech isn't just because you can send the bomb at funny angles, it's also because of how it sets you up to edgeguard. It can turn you around and set you up for back air, which is great for edgeguarding because it's quick and sends your opponent straight away. If you do this and the bomb goes down, you can cover low recoveries with it and then high recoveries with a greedy up B. You can back air the bomb as it bounces from the ledge and play a little football, you know, Ronaldinho, soccer, you know, chinga su madre la América, la verga. And it's pretty cool, and you'll be able to cover a lot more options. Just make sure you practice the timing. Alright, Marth's tech is something I've covered in my channel before because I'm a Lucina main. It's pretty fun. I like to call it up B away. I didn't come up with it, but I've seen players like Mr. E and Leon do it in matches before with Lucina, and I learned it, and it's fun. So Marth's up B is scary to challenge off stage. It's difficult to react to if you're getting stage spiked, not easily countered, it has invincibility frames. It's great. This tech involves using this move more aggressively as an edge guard, but without killing yourself. Your brain might have gone to when you see this move be used as a really cool combo finisher that kills you in the process. But this isn't that. Instead, try spacing your up B to end up facing away from the stage, but still close enough to snap to the ledge and survive. This is great not only because you live, but you'll end up snapping to ledge, setting you up for a backer if they manage to get close again, but other times the up B alone will be enough to end the stock, even without the sweet spot if you took their double jump. Just be ready to back air if necessary anyway. I've pretty much only seen this be done against Captain Falcon and R.O.B, but after labbing this out, I think this is great against other predictable-ish recoveries without intimidating hitboxes. You know, anytime you feel like mixing up your timing and doing something other than the classic Marth and Lucina forwarder at ledge. This, of course, is something Lucina can also do, the same way Lucina's tech from part 2 is something Marth can do too, so go check that one out if you're curious. But now let's move on to Big Daddy Chrom. For Chrom, we have a really Chrom tech. It's a combo. I've actually very rarely covered combos in this series because I always feel like it can kind of be like a too easy answer, like a cop-out, but this combo is insanely cool, and I'm gonna use this video as an excuse to learn it because it's so cool. Alright, this is the Rivers combo, named after Rivers, the Chrom player, who is always insanely fun to watch, even if he does play more Diddy Kong now. He's great, and it's a combo that does like 70%, but it only works at super low percents, and if you want consistent results, you gotta do it from ledge. The combo goes like this: you jump from ledge and do a forward air, land with an up air, wait out the 8 frames of landing lag, turn around and full hop back air, up air again, and then do a finisher of your choice. Up B here is great because it does a million damage and can frame trap neutral air dodges, but you can also try to forward air to set up for an edge guard, a ledge trap, or get sexy and try to read an air dodge with a smash attack or something. Platforms end up being a huge help for the combo. It makes your up air less tight and it can open up a bunch of extensions, so go check out this great video by Sword with a cool chibi Chrom profile picture where I learned this entire thing. In this video, you will also find more variants like the stuff I mentioned about platforms, but also a really cool reverse variant for it when people start to mix up their DI. This combo is awesome. I love Chrom. Alright, Pichu's tech is kind of difficult, I'm not gonna lie. The input itself can be simple, but this is an edgeguarding tech, so the stakes are higher because it involves you purposely getting hit and teching a stage spike, so you better know how to tech. I suck at this game, so I'm gonna be testing this out with Fox, who has an easy to tech up B. But here's a cool graphic that Esam made in this video that will show you who this works on, and yeah, here's how it works. So this tech is kind of a continuation to Pikachu's tech from part 3 of the series. You might remember how Thunder can act as a combo breaker sometimes. Well, now you can use it as some sort of makeshift counter if you're willing to take some damage and you're certain you're gonna tech your opponent's up B, because then you just die, right? But if you know that you're gonna tech, then you can go for this. Alright, basically Pichu's down B comes out on frame 2. Even if you get hit, if 2 frames have passed since the down B animation has started, Thunder is coming out. This makes for some cool combo breaking potential. You can press down B to get the strong hit, or press nothing to get the weak hit and get some cool combo potential. But here's the new info, here's the new tech. So yeah, let's use Fox in this example. The technique is you drop down from ledge and press down B, get hit with Fox's up B, tech the wall and press down B again. And now you just took a bunch of damage probably, and you risked missing the tech, but you took an insanely early stock. Cool. This tech works with both rats, but Pichu's Thunder is a bunch stronger and also sends you at the direction Pichu is facing, so it's more consistent. But yeah, it works with both. Thanks to Isam for making this great video explaining it all, and for crediting Sumgai and AZ, the 2 Pichu players who labbed this whole thing out. This tech is great, except, you know, high risk, high reward. If you're not the best at teching up Bs, you know, become the best at teching up Bs and then do it. Make sure you have a good idea on the path your opponent wants to take before you do it. At least you won't SD if you miss it, because Thunder will hit you and, you know, you can just make it back, right? It's pretty cool. So for Incin, the big cat Incineroar, we have one that is kind of simple, but trust me, I wrote out the script for the Ice Climbers tech before this one, and my fingers hurt. Please let me have this. So if you remember Falco's Stall Spike from part 5 of the series, this is basically that, but because cats eat birds, this one is way more rewarding than some soy boy spike. But yeah, it's the same idea. Run off, side B, hold down so you don't snap the ledge, and you'll be able to catch recoveries that are on their way to snap the ledge. It's super fun, but also remember Incineroar can also just 2-frame recoveries with down tilt and combo it into a back air. But if you ever want an outrageously early kill because you're an Incineroar main and you get off to sub 40% kills, you now have another way to do it with this tech. It's great. Just make sure you keep your double jump, because if this goes wrong, the position you'll be in, I mean, it can be really hard to make it back without it, right? But if this goes well, if all goes right, you get some insanely early kills. I love watching this, but also, yeah, people aren't gonna like you, but you know, it's gonna be cool. Moving on to ICs, we have the Big D setup. Big D, of course, legendary Ice Climbers player, we love him, but the Big D setup we do not love. If someone ever did this to me, I would break I would break my monitor, I swear. So let's say someone is recovering against you. Face into the stage, jump and space yourself so Nana hangs from ledge but Popo doesn't. This gives you a ledge jump. Now you can time a forward smash to come out as soon as the grab animation ends and they are open for a ledge jump, and then buffer a ledge jump side B into the stage so Nana does her move while Popo finishes his F smash animation, and then hold down and into the stage with your left stick to push the side B as much as you can into the stage, but without moving Popo. He will just chill here crouching. So this is a lot to take in, but if they get trumped, you have a 100% chance to land a forward smash. It's guaranteed. Assuming your ledge trump game is on point, this means the only way your opponent can escape the forward smash is by buffering an option as soon as they hang from ledge. But even then, a forward smash will still cover ledge jumps, and neutral get up can be covered with Nana side B. Just practice reacting to, you know, if they shield it in time. And then get up attacks are funny because Popo can just jump over most get up attacks with his forward smash animation, and the get up attack will whiff most of the time. So all you need to do is just whiff punish it with an F smash again. So it's cool. The only option that escapes this setup is a roll, but Gamer left out a cool variant of the setup that involves you yourself rolling as well and doing some desync shenanigans that I really don't want to risk getting wrong. So go check out Gamer for some infinitely better explanations for this setup. But yeah, it's a great little thing you can do. And even if you only learn the original setup, the one I described earlier, and your opponent rolls, they still can't punish you anyway, because in Gamer's words, Nana will be coming in their face. Alright, for the doctor, I wanted to learn about the side B ledge jump, because this character is super fun to me and I want to know how to do it. So here's how you do it. It's pretty simple. Just space yourself and bring up the cape. The knockback is fixed and the hitbox is pretty lenient, which is great. You can do this with Mario too, but the setup is just way better with Doc because his cape hits lower and because his up B is an insane kill move and it hits lower than Mario. So cool. I saw this video by Larry Lurd that was a great quick explanation for the setup, and it was great. He mentioned that some characters are pretty much immune to this though because the cape doesn't hit them high enough for a punish, and that's true. Ganon, for example, has an amazing ledge hang and doesn't get sent high enough to get up beat. But one thing I'd like to add is that sometimes you can go for a down tilt and it will help you get your up B more consistently on characters that normally wouldn't get caught for it after the cape alone. Doc's down tilt is amazing for combos. You can go for a back air or an up air too, so that's pretty cool. And down tilt also helps for, you know, minimizing the risk here. You could just go for a down tilt instead of an up B and maybe go for a back air or something without the risk of missing the up B, because if you miss this up B, you might be in trouble, but if you miss the down tilt, you'll be fine. So cool tech. Alright, so the plant has two techs that I'm pretty sure everyone or a lot of people inside of the plant community know about. We have Spallow and we have Drop Shot. Cool, useful, but you know this series is more about more low-key techniques, right? So I'm gonna try to find something else to keep it fresh for you guys. Alright, I asked around in the Plant Gang Discord and I found something called low LSS. LSS is long stem strike. It's plant's down B, and usually you can only angle this around 180-ish degrees when you're grounded, and angling it downwards is a little tricky because you need to be off stage, and even then there's a limit on how low you can do it. Like, you can't angle it straight down, for example. A nice little workaround though is low LSS. It's a simple but tight input. You need to get as close to the ledge as you can, short hop and input a back air at the peak of your jump. I'm not sure what the physics here are. I'm guessing maybe it moves you a little with its landing animation or something. There's most likely other ways to set up for it, but the most consistent way appears to be back air. But then after the back air, do LSS once you land and you'll be able to get some crazy super low angles with it, and also without leaving the stage, which is pretty cool. Just make sure you practice this. Plenty of people in the Discord were like, yeah, it's super fun and it invalidates a ton of recoveries, but landing it in a real game is gonna be really hard because it's really difficult to execute. But I mean, hey, maybe you can go practice it. Go do it. Do it immediately. Mii Swordfighter is a little difficult because I love this character.
Oh my god, 75%.
But the Mii Swordy I run is suboptimal, and I know that most Swordies don't use Blurring Blade, Stone, Scabbard, Airborne, Assault, and Counter like I do, And for good reason, Chakram is amazing and Blurring Blade sucks, but I like him, he's fun. And also outside of this cheese tech with Skyward Slash Dash that can get you some really early kills, Mii Swordfighter is sadly one of the least documented characters on YouTube, so I'm gonna fill you guys in on a little thing that I like to do that I couldn't find any video on. Alright, so like I said earlier, I use this up-B, Stone Scabbard. It's the Ike it's the Ike lookalike because I love edgeguarding and I love to be able to go super low, and this goes super high. So Stone Scabbard is a little different from other up and down up-Bs like Kirby's or Pyra's or Chrome's or something, because this one can snap to ledge even when rising and even when you're facing away. And also the spacing is like super lenient. You can be pretty far off and facing away and snap to ledge, which paired with this decently sized vertical disjoint makes for a fun 2-frame option. And alright, let's get into my setup. Alright, this is inspired by the Climb Hazard ledge jump setup back from where we covered Cloud back in part 3, but not this part. This part. You can get something similar with this up-B. So the spike from this up-B isn't very strong. You'll need to most likely be quick and follow this up with a down air or any other move you want to try, and because this up-B is insanely vertical, you can make it back most of the time. This is great for catching people skipping ledge on you. You can just run off, quickly do an up-B and get a spike on someone recovering high and snap to ledge. Cool. The fun part about this is that you can face any direction you like and still snap to ledge. So you don't have to worry about anything precise like be reversing the up-B or spacing yourself away enough or close enough to the ledge like you would with Cloud. Just run off and do it. Just run off and up-B, and all you need to think about is being close-ish to the ledge and you'll be fine. Using Stone Scabbard for ledge pressure is something I recently discovered and it's super fun to do. When I play Swordy, I like to be super aggressive, and this up-B has good kill power. It's not safe on shield, but you can make it harder to punish if you go to ledge and you will just snap to ledge. It's really fun. I use this a lot in my low tiers only tournament I hosted on my Discord. You know, shout out if you're into fun themed tournaments or something. The link to my Discord is in the description. Let's move on. I bought my low tiers only winner fried chicken. That was the prize, so if you want me to buy you fried chicken, be sure to join the Discord. Alright, let's move on. For Kirby, we have the hammer ledge trap setup. 99% of people think Kirby side B is bad, and if you're one of these 99% of people, you would be right. You would be correct. It's not a good move, but it's not useless. It's good for tech chases on platforms, and it helps you get good finishers from jab blocks at low percents because it won't stale your forward smash. But the thing I want to talk about is a really cool ledge trap setup that AP Scarlet Sword suggested to me way back in part 2, and I remembered it. And I found this great video by Juggle Boy explaining it. Here's what I learned. So for this setup, you have to be kind of good at ledge trapping, so like remembering habits, reacting to options. Once you have it down, hammer can be an amazing ledge trap option without any risk involved, or you know, maybe a little risk involved, but not too much, and it'll cover every option if you're good. This works best on stages with platforms, but you can do it anywhere. Next time you're ledge trapping as Kirby, sit on the platform here and charge hammer. You will find that this covers so many options. Aerial hammer has like no lag and lasts for a while because it spins Kirby around and it's like 2 hits. It's cool. You can drop down and cover neutral get-ups, get-up attacks, and rolls, and because of the armor, you might be able to tank a get-up attack and punish it. Again, this works best if you're good at reacting because you can get punished for whiffing the grounded version, but at least the aerial version is pretty great. You can even punish people for trying to punish you sometimes. Just, you know, be careful. Hammer is one of those moves where it's like a noob-friendly move. It's good when you are new and bad at the game, and then it stops being good when you actually pick Kirby up for real, and then it starts being kind of useful again when you become a more technical Kirby player. It's pretty cool. For Simon and Richter, I struggled for hours trying to find some cool tech on YouTube, and I finally struck gold when I found Jenghi, a Belmont player from NorCal who has so much cool Richter tech on his Twitter account. I didn't even know what to choose now because it's all so much and it's so cool. Please go check out Jenghi's Twitter for some of the flashiest, craziest Belmont tech. But yeah, here's the one I chose. So in this video, Jenghi posted back on October 2024. We see him go for Holy Water, and then, and this blew my mind, not a forward smash. I'm not even making a dig at Belmont players, like, because Holy Water to smash attack is a thing they always do and it's super annoying, but like, genuinely, as someone who plays these two for fun sometimes, it never occurred to me that you can just go for another move instead of a smash attack. So yeah, I mean, for Belmont, I guess we're looking into Holy Water's combo potential. Again, this blew my mind because it's so obvious, right? But we don't think about it because F smash is just really great and really strong. This also helps because if you practice it, you can get some loops out, you can position yourself at ledge and make your finisher forward smash kill even earlier. You can also finish it with up air up smash or up air. You can do this weird thing where back air can somehow send opponents in front of you instead of behind you, and you can get a smash attack. I don't know why that's a a thing, but it's a thing. You could do footstool down air and set up a tech chase. This shit just keeps blowing my mind. How have I not seen any Belmont player do this? It's so cool. And hey, I'm not pretending that this is always a better play. F smash is insanely strong and it'll kill really early. But if you're sure it's not gonna kill, if you don't want to stale it, if you landed your holy water at center stage or something and you know it's not gonna kill, give it a try. Take the combo instead of the smash attack. It'll make you become one of those fabled Belmont players with friends that you've heard so much about but never met. You know, next time your friends are talking shit about you behind your back, they're gonna be like, yeah, you know what? At least they have a cool Belmont. Again, this tech blew my mind. It's so fun. This isn't, I promise this isn't me making fun of Belmont players. I promise this tech isn't, hey, did you know you don't have to go for a smash tech every time? Like, genuinely, I'm not making fun of you. This is genuinely like, oh wow, I also never thought about just going for something else out of holy water instead of a smash attack. This is such a like mind-blowing, like glass-shattering idea. Like, oh, yeah, you can just do that instead. That's crazy. I never thought of that. So yeah, shout out to Jengi. Go check out Jengi's Twitter and YouTube accounts. I'll leave them in the description below. He has some of the coolest Belmont, you know, tips and tricks and tech and stuff. He's great. Go check him out. All right, finally for Zelda, we're gonna calm down a little because I'm still blown away from the Belmont's tech, but we have a cool confirm. We have jab into a smash attack. I've had this done before to me by people out on Elite Smash a little bit, but I looked it up on YouTube and I couldn't find it. So I did a little labbing and asking around in the Zelda Discord, and here's what I found. So yeah, Zelda is in the small club of characters that can get kill moves out of jab, and the reason we don't see this a lot, at least online, is because this requires Zelda to be close to you, which she will never intentionally do unless she knows you're gonna jump over Phantom or something. But once you find a good Zelda, they do this sometimes, and it looks really cool, and all you need to do is jab once at around above 90-ish%. Oops, I accidentally put in my failed attempts instead of my successful attempts. I remember editing this part at like 3 AM, my bad. Here's some actual footage of my successful attempts. Jab into forward smash isn't a true combat hypersense, but I guess you could still try it, even though down smash is also amazing, is really strong, and is a true combo, and it sends at a really scary angle. And I did some labbing. You can't get up B, and that's all the labbing I did. But, you know, jab down smash, go do it. It's fun. For Villager, maybe you thought I was going to talk about B-reversing Pocket for movement, but you know me, man, it's too easy. So I brought another fun one in that Pokelam sent me. He's a Villager player from New York who recently won a tournament I hosted on my Discord. He's cool, and he sent me a video about something called Sticky Lloyd, aka my college nickname. So Sticky Lloyd is a pretty amazing tech that lets your side B, the Lloyd Rocket, hang out at ledge for a little while, and it can severely mess up low recoveries. Because it sits here for a while, the window for getting a hit in is pretty lenient. Just make sure you know your opponent is recovering low, because if they're going high, then they could just avoid it, right? But if you know the path they're gonna take, if you know they're going low, then yeah, here's what you do. It's pretty easy. Just go off stage, and when you're aligned with the ledge, just use side B and hold away on your left stick. You can jump out if you want to, you can stay here. And usually if you want to avoid snapping to ledge, you gotta hold down on your left stick, but in this case, Lloyd makes it so you don't snap to ledge anyway. So you can just hold back and you're good. This one's really cool. Thanks to Pokelam again for some of the footage you're seeing. Cool. Let's move on to my boy Ike. Alright, for my boy Ike, we have Footstool up B out of shield. Ike is a good character in my opinion, shout out, you know, to my latest video, but he does struggle with his out of shield game sometimes. He doesn't have the best get off B moves, you gotta settle for jab or grab out of shield a lot, and up B out of shield can be amazing if it hits, but it is frame 15, which means it's not super slow, but out of shield, it's not very consistent. It's uncommon for people to land on you with 15 frames of vulnerability. As Ike, if you really want an up B out of shield, you gotta use it preemptively because it has a ton of armor and you take the damage, but you land this insanely powerful hit. So that's cool. If you want a safer shot at it though, you can Footstool up B out of shield. And it turns your frame 15 up B that kills ridiculously early into a frame 4 at best and frame 9 at worst up B that kills ridiculously early. It's great. I almost didn't choose this as a tech because Footstool combos are not unique to Ike. There's a lot of characters that can get things out of a Footstool, but Footstool up B is a little weird. You know, I know Footstool down air, there's Footstool down gun, and other, you know, Footstool disable with Mewtwo and stuff, but up B is a weird thing to get out of a Footstool. The reason it works is because up B's animation kind of makes Ike put his sword below him for a little bit, and that has a hitbox. I don't think there's many or any many characters that can get up out of a footstool. So cool, my boy Ike, let's go. It is kind of difficult though, so you gotta practice the input and the timing and stuff. Maybe set your jump to one of the shoulder buttons to make it easier. And disclaimer, it really only works against unspaced moves, so you know, don't try it if you parry and I don't know, Byleth, tipper back air or something, right? That won't work. But most characters without any disjoints or big moves like Mario or Falcon or DK, you can jump out of shield, double jump, and buffer in an up B. In my experience, it's not an IDJ, an instant double jump, if you know what those are. It's a jump and a double jump right after. There's a difference, right? An IDJ is you do it immediately, and in this case, you kind of need to wait a little bit. But yeah, so again, you should try this out in training mode. It's super fun, and it helps out a ton because, you know, out of shield game, that's kind of an Ike weakness. And yeah, cool. My boy Ike, let's go. Bowser Jr. was a tough one because there's not a lot of tech for them online, but I found this video by Beefy Smash Dudes about Wendy. I think there was like a joke going on around that time where a bunch of Smash YouTubers uploaded Wendy content, I don't know, Wendy posting, but this one had some cool info because I didn't know this, but if you're good at the game, you can pretty much control what direction Mecha Koopa sends your opponents towards, which means you can hit someone with it and they'll be knocked towards you and you can get a back air or something. So C5 for Beefy Smash Dudes figured out how, and it's basically like this explosion here always sends opponents towards their back, regardless of the direction you or your opponent are facing. If you hit someone in front of you, they get sent away, and if you hit someone from behind, it'll spin them around first, they end up facing you, and then it blows up and sends them away. So it's almost like regardless of what you do, the game makes sure your opponent will always be facing you so that they get sent away. You might know the mechanic in Smash Ultimate where if a move is weak and you hit someone from behind, it'll always turn opponents around. But if a move is strong enough to put opponents in hit stun, then it doesn't turn them around. That's kind of a universal thing, and keeping this in mind with this setup I'm about to show you, this information I'm about to share, can end up being pretty fun. So alright, as soon as you hit your opponent with a Mecha Koopa, if it hits them from the back, it turns them around, right? Again, that's the game, making sure the explosion always sends away. But also this means that if you're precise, you can hit them with a sour spot in air after this spinny animation, and because the move is kind of weak, it'll turn them around again. And it's basically like you're making this 180-degree spin, 360-degree spin, and they end up with their backs facing you instead of away, ensuring that the explosion sends them towards you instead of away. So that's cool, but it sounds like this only works if you land Mecha Koopa on their back, which can be a little tricky to do. But if you hit them from the front, you can still get the setup if you cross them up and hit them after the Mecha Koopa sticks to them, so that even though they don't turn around because they're already facing away, they're still getting sent towards you because you pushed them away and their back is still facing you. So that's how it works. Again, it can be a little tricky to get. I had a lot of trouble writing this part of the script because I was like, am I saying it right? But from what I've seen, people who main low tiers are super dedicated to low tiers. So if you're junior main, you're probably dedicated enough to learn it, right? So for Isabelle, I know I said these couldn't be useless, but I mean, it's not useless. It is kind of funny looking, but you can make use of it because it's movement tech, and movement tech is never useless, especially if you're Isabelle, because this character is super annoying to fight. But this might make someone think you're cool, maybe. So yeah, there's this video that Squishy from my Discord sent over to me called How to Glyroid by Salad Fox, and it looks silly. Here's what you do. Just make sure you have your down B set up somewhere, input a dash, then down B, and just keep holding forward, and you'll slide for a little bit. It's fun for approaching, fun for running away. You can do some cool mind games like making people think they need to watch out for you approaching, which will trick them into ending up getting hit by the Lord Rocket. You can get aerials or fishing rod out of it. Isabelle is one of my least played characters. I very rarely play projectile zoners, but even I wanted to try this out online. It's super fun. Like always, all my sources are in the description. Cool. Let's talk about the monkey. Alright, so the new tier list came out a little while ago, right? At least as of the time of this video's release. And something interesting in this new ranking is that DK went up by a lot, and I'm not someone who really trusts tier list all that much, but the Smash Ultimate DK revolution, you know, the DK renaissance is upon us. And a little while ago I found this on Twitter by Chunky Kong. We love Chunky Kong, and it's the parry up tilt cancel. Parry up tilt cancels are something that a lot of characters can do. As far as I know, if your character has a fast-ish single hit up tilt without a disjoint, it'll work best because this involves trading a hit, and if it's a sword up tilt, it'll just win the trade. And multi-hits, as rare as they are, if you land a starting hit, for example, there's a chance of you losing the trade, but DK's up tilt is perfect for this. Same goes for DDD, Little Mac, and K. Rool. A bunch of other characters that coincidentally also show up in this video. but you know, don't worry, I'm not doing repeats. So what you gain from PUTC is a new out of shield option, assuming you want to take the risk and go for a parry. If you don't do intentional parries, maybe get that idea into your head and then start labbing this out. But yeah, basically DK's out of shield game, like Ike, is not the best. Jumping to aerial up B is a good workaround, giving you a frame 7 out of shield move. That's not bad, it's pretty good. If you're ready to step up your game though, here's another thing you can do. This only works against multi-hits, because I mean, if you parry a single hit move, you just get a parry up tilt, right? But don't worry, there's tons of multi-hit aerials people land with, and what separates the parry up tilt cancel from a normal parry up tilt is that this time your up tilt will trade, which means it won't have the same amount of knockback on normal up tilt would, and you will be able to get some racist follow-ups out of it. Again, I found this on Twitter, and there's actually a bunch of people on Twitter talking about different parry up tilt cancels with other characters. But here's a video from Chunky Kong's YouTube channel that goes into it with better detail and also stops you from having to visit twitter.com. You're welcome. Go check him out. Robin's tech is really cool. You might know that Levin's or down smash is a great move for 2-framing because it has a huge hitbox and it's really strong, but if you miss it, you are left super open. A cool thing you can do instead is L-Wind, the up B. It can end up being amazing at catching people on their way back to the stage. The main issue with this is that it requires super precise positioning, because if you get it wrong, the L-Wind will just hit the floor, but this tech is all about helping you land this consistently, and it's super easy. There's an amazing video by B that I left in the description, go check it out. She explains the physics of it in a really interesting way, and it has to do with the fact that Robin's L-Wind normally spawns in under their feet, but if they're grounded, the game has to account for that and instead move L-Wind and spawn it in a spot where it wouldn't overlap with the floor. Makes sense, makes sense. Usually this just moves L-Wind up a bit and that's that. According to B, if you do this as close to the ledge as possible, the move will be relocated because it's grounded, sure, but L-Wind will just hit the floor and despawn. So if you want this to hit below ledge without colliding with the stage, you need to inch forward a little bit and you need to get this just right. Some might say it's too precise to even bother trying, but like I said earlier, there's a workaround and it's dash attack. Doing it towards the ledge will space you perfectly so Robin ends up in the exact spot where if you input your up B, it will spawn in just a little bit differently and instead the L-Wind will come out here hitting well below ledge. Cool. A little more context, if you miss you'll fly away and you'll be safe from getting punished, which is nice. Just make sure that you're aware you are giving up the ledge trapping phase, which is something Robin is pretty good at, but hey, I mean, if it lands you'll be happy and it spikes, so that's fun. Alright, for Mewtwo, we know people who play this character love to do silly stuff at ledge. There's the double jump fair, double jump confusion, disable, and there's a thing I said at the intro where they like to do aerials on their way up, and this is yet another fun trick you can do to get out of the corner. It's called the instant ledge get up. I found it on this video by Bebop, and it's basically just a quicker ledge neutral get up. All you gotta do is let go of the ledge, jump and air dodge while DIing in, and because you're Mewtwo, people are always wondering what you're gonna do at ledge because this cat has like a million tricks he can play with you at ledge, and they'll likely be conditioned into just holding shield on you and reacting. The counterplay to this can be confusion from ledge. Confusion is the side B and it goes through shields. So that's cool, but it's always good to never run out of tricks, and this has such low lag, you might bait people into trying to punish a neutral getup. That's fun, and you'll be able to punish them back because again, this has no lag. Just watch out because unlike your neutral getup, you get no invincibility here. This is kind of just a fun, subtle optimization to your neutral getup at worst, and a funky ledge mind game at best, you know, if you're good. Alright, so you know how Crown has armor and a lot of K-Rules like to use it. Like if you're playing against K-Rule and you're getting ready to kill him off stage, he got sent super far and barely survived, he has no jump, no air dodge, and you hit him, but he doesn't care because he's in the Crown animation. Yeah, that's a thing K-Rules like to do, and it's pretty good. But every time I see the Crown be thrown for the armor, it's thrown towards the stage. And it makes sense. If you're K-Rule here, you're throwing it in the direction of your opponent, right? It makes sense. Even if you don't really think that it's gonna hit, I mean, the crown has to come out, right? And what you want from this is the move's armor. So even if it misses, like, who cares? You tanked an edge guard. That's all you needed. But still, you know, why not just throw it towards your opponent? You know, why? Where else would you throw it? What could possibly be the point of throwing it towards the other direction? Makes sense. But I was looking for cool K-Rule footage in this game with Bruja against Zomba, and there were some situations where Brujo threw the crown outside instead of inside while recovering. So I haven't seen a lot of K-Rule players do this, mostly because I haven't seen a lot of K-Rule players in general, but it makes a lot of sense. If you're at above-ish ledge height, it covers ledge, it covers this path back to the stage, so your opponents have to decide quickly if they want to go for an edge guard or not. You can throw in a blunderbuss and recover super low without any interruptions, And if you know you're gonna make it back before the hitbox stops being active, it'll help you get out of ledge trapping. This works better as a mix-up because you kind of have to anticipate it and do it early. And when K-Rool's throw the crown towards the stage, that's kind of on reaction as soon as they see their opponent is running off stage. And that is still probably a better option, because if you throw the crown early, then your armor might run out and you can get edge guarded. But if you feel like you've fallen into a pattern here and your opponent is going to try to hit you before you pull out the crown, you can do it preemptively, like I said, and call out an edge guard. You can do it early and you might lose some armor frames or lose them completely, but the crown's hitbox will still be there and it'll be, you know, kind of a disruption to people trying to edgeguard you. And it's pretty interesting. I feel like K-Rool has some really cool potential because throwing the crown towards the stage to take the hit and recover is just such a great option sometimes, until we fight someone who knows how to deal with it and we forget that there's other ways to defend yourself off stage. It's pretty cool, it's pretty cool, it's pretty cool. So for my favorite character in the game, just kidding, he's a cheater, I hate him. Alright, never mind. The more I talk about Lil Mac's cheese addiction, the more whiny and annoying I'll get. No offense to Little Mac mains, I'm just bad at the game, but alright, here's something that's actually cool that he can do, that I think if there's any character in this game that should be able to do it, it's him. First of all, because he needs it, because he sucks, and also because it's kind of his thing to be good on the ground, right? This is the sliding spot dodge. I found it on this video by Mac Nation, and it basically lets you cross up shields while in the ground and also without using a tilt or a smash attack or anything, just a spot dodge. This can catch a ton of people off guard. There's a bunch of characters that have a good out of shield game, but pretty much everyone's options get weaker once they need to out of shield someone who's behind them. Unless you're Game & Watch, but if you're a normal person, then yeah, your out of shield option might end up only hitting in front of you and you'll mess up and you'll get punished for it, which is why crossing people up is really good. And yeah, it looks like Little Mac can do it without even inputting a move, you just run and spot dodge. If you have KO Punch, you can bait out options out of shield and punish them by killing him at 20. Cool, but also in general, Mac hits really hard and he really needs every opening he can get. But the thing with cross-ups is that usually they happen when you land on someone, and if you're Little Mac, being in the air is not a very fun experience. So, well, now you have a better way to play around with crossing up opponents without having to jump. The input is pretty simple in terms of what you press, but the timing can be kind of tight, so make sure you practice this. You're basically just doing a spot dodge out of a run, but because Mac has funny physics and he's really fast, if you input this right, he gets to keep some of his momentum and you can use this to slip past people's shields. Or you can just run in spot dodge if you want to be stylish, you know, dash through Young Link arrow or something. You don't always need to do this to a shield, but it is really good for cross-ups. All you gotta do is just run, and as you're running, quickly roll your left stick down and press spot dodge, and you'll slide a little, and there you go. Cool, have fun breaking some ankles. Just make sure you get the timing down and make sure you get it right. And also remember, spot dodge is gonna stale, so don't spam it or you'll get less out of it. I never thought I'd say this, but if a Little Mac player did this to me, I'd be like, cool, you know, no complaining here, I got owned. Alright, for DDD, I kinda had a hard time because the inhale to up tilt thing, I feel like it's too obvious. But there is one that might also be too obvious, but trust me, I'm gonna go into an aspect of this tech that you probably didn't know about. So the Gordo stick is a tech that DDD can do. It lets him place the Gordo here at ledge and it'll mess up certain recoveries, and as a certified low recovery fan, this always messes me up, it sucks. But there's another way to set it up that doesn't require short hopping or full hopping off stage, and that is just to snipe the ledge with it on your way back to the stage. So let's say you got sent flying off stage and you're on your way back, and as DDD, you can already be tricky to edgeguard because you'll be able to throw out a million aerials, which is great. But in this video by Density_, I learned that you might have another option that looks really cool when it works. So Density just called it the Gordo Stick Snipe, and it's a different way to execute the Gordo Stick I mentioned earlier. It's basically just the same tech, except turns out you can stick the Gordo while recovering. You can snipe the ledge, make it back, and you'll get some really cool reversals on people who made the mistake of trying to edgeguard you. It takes some positioning, you really need to know the spacing and trajectory or whatever, but what's fun about this is that you can basically just practice it in game, because you can just throw it out, right? Just try it out in training mode to get an idea on where you should be and go back to playing. And next time you get sent out off stage, just shoot out Gordo on your way back, and if you land the snipe, cool, and if you don't, you still throw out the Gordo to defend yourself off stage. It's not like you die if you miss the stick snipe, it's basically no risk, so that's cool. Alright, to end this super cool series, we have the Old Man, Ganondorf. And initially, I wanted to do a super simple one. I was just gonna say you can down tilt under a platform and kill someone at 20. But I mean, what? I just say that and the video's over? Like, come on. No. And so enjoy that little bonus setup. But officially, the last tech for the One Tech for Everyone series is the MGK Ganondorf playlist. Nah, I'm kidding. I'll pick my favorite one from all these videos, but Oh my god, this was very difficult because everything in here is so cool. MGK Ganondorf is a genius Ganon player, but for now, here's one thing I dug up. No, actually, because Ganon is the worst character in the game and I'm in a good mood, you guys get my top 5 tags from this playlist. A little lightning round, they'll be quick. It's all so good. Partly it's because I just couldn't choose because this playlist is full of cool things. Go check these videos out and you'll understand why it was so hard to pick just one. So the first one is tapping the shield button after a dash attack at low percents. This is a mix-up for when you know your opponent is gonna use a quick get off me aerial after your dash attack if they like to mash out a hit stun like me, and if you tap your shield, it's a free parry. And if they air dodge, you can, you know, because you tapped shield, you can just let go and punish that too. At mid percents, you need to wait in time to parry, but that's reactable, so it's still fun. And if you get this at ledge, you can spike them. Oh my god, I love this character. This is great. The second one, I might get some shit for this because it's really simple, but I like this one a lot. Usually when I play Ganon, I like the dash attack up air. That's like a classic Ganondorf kill confirm. It's good for combos, good damage, good positioning. But apparently, you can get a forward air from the late hit of dash attack. That's crazy. I didn't know it was fast enough. I didn't know. So that's cool. And because it's forward air, it kills really early. It's crazy. The third Ganon tag is a shield break setup, and it involves jabbing a shield using flame choke. And if you can read your opponent's deck roll, you can do aerial down B and break a shield if they hold it. Jab has some good pushback on shield, and because flame choke makes you step back for a little, it can kind of act like a spot dodge and it'll beat out pretty much every shield grab, which makes this setup pretty consistent outside of the read. You gotta get the read. That can be tricky depending on your opponent, or you could just guess, and if they hold shield on you, then it's over. Shield break, it's done. The fourth one, you might already know it, but it's the late hit of up airs, jab luck potential. Look at this. Good luck doing it. Alright, for the very last deck of the series, for real this time, it's the ledge drop double jump down air. It's pretty easy and it's nice at 2-framing because it's huge, and even the sour spot is really good. And you do it by hanging from ledge and then letting go, holding in towards the stage, and then double jump and down air while still holding in towards the stage. The fun part about this one is that you land on stage with basically no lag. If you miss, you can bait out get up attacks, and if you fumble it and don't land on stage, you can side B back. Maybe you get a ledge jump or do a Ganon side if you're lucky or unlucky, depending on how the stock count is looking like, right? So that's the series. Cool. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun here. If you saw the whole thing, if you rewatched it, if you saw a couple characters only, I genuinely appreciate it a ton. Thanks for giving me your precious time. I know time can be hard to come by, so thanks for spending some of it on my channel. It means a lot. More stuff to come, of course, when Smash 6 comes out. You already know I'm gonna come back with another one tech for everyone for that game. I can already tell Aegis' tech is gonna be so busted, and yeah, that's it. Cool. If you want to see more of me, you know, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. More cool videos to come, of course. Second channel right here, Patreon right here, Twitter right there. I don't use it. That's it. Cool. Bye.